Chapter 1040. How did you do it? Hemingway Map opened his eyes wide and looked at Mo Fengyun as if he was looking at a monster. He couldn't figure out how Mo Fengyun could so easily subdue a supreme-grade Dao sword that even Marquis Qianming and the others couldn't subdue. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. My 10,000 transformations Black Lotus has the additional ability to attack souls, so it can destroy the soul in this supreme-grade Dao sword. Mo Fengyun explained. Mo Fengyun, you are very good. Marquis Qianming looked at him with surprise and said slowly, but this supreme-grade Dao sword is what I want. Are you willing to give it to me? If you are willing, you can follow me and follow me back to the Kirin Kingdom to cultivate. Fengyun is willing. Mo Fengyun quietly put away the sword soul and gave the supreme-grade Dao sword to Marquis Qianming. Good. After getting the supreme-grade Dao sword, Marquis Qianming looked satisfied and took out 2 precious Dao pills from his Qiankuan ring. Mo Fengyun, these 2 Dao pills are for you. As long as you are loyal to me, I will treat you well. Mo Fengyun said gratefully as he received the 2 great Dao pills from the Marquis Qianming. Damn, this Mo Fengyun is so lucky. Seeing Mo Fengyun become Marquis Qianming's confidant, Hemingway Map and Yu Chan looked jealous. However, with Marquis Qianming supporting Mo Fengyun in the future, they didn't dare to offend him. They could only vent their anger and jealousy on Yi Chunfeng. Good sword, it is really a good sword. Even among supreme-grade Dao weapons, this sword is one of the best. Marquis Qianming gently stroked the sword covered with Dao patterns. He felt that the quality of this sword was beyond his expectations and showed a trace of excitement. Congratulations to Marquis for getting this sword. Only a big shot like Marquis is worthy of this sword. Hemingway Map, Yu Chan, and the others hid their jealousy and came forward to congratulate him. With this sword in hand, who is my opponent? Marquis Qianming said proudly and laughed heartily. Let's go deeper into the abyss of hell and see what other great opportunities are waiting for us. With that said, the Marquis of Qianming dripped his blood on the supreme-grade Dao sword to claim ownership of it and put it into his body to refine before leading everyone to fly towards the end of this world of ice and snow. However, in this world of ice and snow, apart from this supreme-grade Dao sword, there was no other great fortuitous encounter that attracted them. After flying for a day or so, they flew past the extremely cold world of ice and snow, which was enough to freeze a peerless king-level expert to death. After determining the direction, they continued to fly into the distance. Very quickly, 8 days passed. During these 8 days, Yi Chunfeng's group encountered many dangers. However, relying on their powerful strength and increasingly tacit cooperation, they managed to turn the situation around without any more casualties. What's that? While the group was flying aimlessly in the abyss of hell, they noticed that there were 3 enormous spatial vortexes in the distance. They were releasing a powerful suction force, twisting space and devouring everything in the area. What a terrifying power! How could there be 3 spatial whirlpools here? Looking at the 3 spatial whirlpools that were moving slowly towards them, the group's expression changed slightly. They retreated slightly, not daring to be swallowed by the 3 spatial whirlpools. Marquis, do you think there is a great opportunity hidden in these 3 spatial whirlpools? Hemingway Map took a deep breath and looked at the spatial whirlpools that shocked him greatly. The appearance of these 3 spatial whirlpools is too strange. It is very likely that there is a great opportunity hidden in them, but also a great danger. The Marquis of Qianming nodded and said with a serious expression, Marquis, we can find 3 people to go in and explore. Then we will know what is inside. Sakuragi looked at Yi Chunfeng maliciously and revealed a hint of seduction as she deliberately suggested this. This was a good idea. The Marquis of Qianming nodded and said, Do you have anyone to recommend? Let's choose 3 people with the lowest realms. This way, even if there is an accident, we won't lose anything. Sakuragi's seductive red lips curled up slightly as she spoke coquettishly. Hearing Sakuraji's suggestion, Mo Fengyun's eyes revealed a trace of viciousness. He felt that Sakuraji was deliberately targeting Yi Chunfeng and wanted to kill him, so he wanted to refute. But at this moment, Yi Chunfeng lowered his voice and transmitted it into Mo Fengyun's ears, not allowing him to act rashly. Although the three spatial whirlpools seemed to be abnormally dangerous, Yi Chunfeng had the universe realm, so he was not afraid of accidents. Moreover, he had a feeling that there was a great treasure in the three spatial whirlpools, so he wanted to take a look. Okay, let's do it this way. Do you have any objections? The Marquis of Qianming nodded and asked. Since there is no objection, then I will leave the scouting to the three of you. If the three of you can help me find out the secret of the three spatial whirlpools, I will reward you handsomely. The Marquis of Qianming promised in front of everyone. Come, insert a strand of your soul into this life soul stone. This way, if you die in the spatial whirlpool, we will know. Old Zhe took out 3 extremely precious life soul stones and ordered without any room for objection. Yes. Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 obeyed and obediently separated a strand of their soul and inserted it into the life soul stone. Okay, you can go now. I wish you good luck. Old Zhe said slowly as he took the 3 life soul stones that had merged with Yi Chunfeng and the other 2's souls. Yi Chunfeng pretended to be terrified and flew into the air. He slowly flew towards the spatial whirlpool that was releasing the power of distortion. Looking at the 3 spatial whirlpools up close, Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 had a strong visual impact. The terrifying aura emitted from the spatial whirlpools gave Yi Chunfeng and the other 2 great pressure. This was especially so for the 2 disciples of the 9 Nether Mountain and the Yu family. They were so frightened that their guts were about to burst. Golden Body Secret Art Yi Chunfeng did not dare to be careless. He used all his strength to break through the spatial whirlpool and used the Golden Body Secret Art to cover his body with a layer of defensive golden light, further increasing his defensive power. Boom! The spatial whirlpool that was devouring the heavens and earth trembled. Yi Chunfeng burst out with an astonishing strength and forcefully passed through the spatial whirlpool. He endured the distortion that was enough to crush a mountain and flew into the spatial whirlpool. In about half an incense's time, Yi Chunfeng relied on his powerful physical body to pass through the spatial whirlpool and entered the pitch-black space without a trace of light. As for the other 2 disciples of the 9 Nether Mountain and the Yu family, their bodies were crushed by the distortion of the spatial whirlpool. Not even their bones were left. Mo Fengyun, your disciple is pretty good. With his strength as a rank 1 combat beast emperor, he was able to endure the distortion of the spatial whirlpool until the end. The Marquis of Qianming discovered that the life soul stones of the disciples of the 9 Nether Mountain and the Yu family had all been shattered. Only Yi Chunfeng's life soul stone was intact. A trace of surprise appeared on his face. Xian Shu is extremely talented. His physical body is even stronger than ordinary heavenly beasts. The reason why he was able to survive in the end should be because of his powerful physical body. Mo Fengyun said. And this disciple of yours is also a promising talent. If he is able to leave the abyss of hell alive, both of you can follow me back to the Kirin kingdom to cultivate. The Marquis of Qianming nodded and said. Thank you, Marquis. Mo Fengyun said gratefully. On the other hand, Yu Gu, who had the intention of accepting Yi Chunfeng as his disciple, had an ugly expression on his face. Marquis, should we enter the spatial whirlpool where Xian Shu is? Old man Zhe saw that Yi Chunfeng was able to survive in the spatial whirlpool and felt that the risk of entering the spatial whirlpool was not too great. No hurry, let's wait a little longer. The Marquis of Qianming shook his head and said calmly. From his point of view, everything was under his control. With Yi Chunfeng's strength, he would not be able to cause any trouble. He had the intention of letting Yi Chunfeng explore the spatial whirlpool thoroughly. After confirming that there was no risk, he would enter. Mobile reading website, book address, For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1041. So dark, this space is so dark. Looking at the pitch-black space, Yi Chunfeng immediately took out 3 moonstones. They floated above his head and illuminated the surrounding space. Watermark advertisement test. However, this space was very strange. The moonstone's light was constantly being devoured. The 3 moonstones could only illuminate about 10 meters of space. Fortunately, Yi Chunfeng's soul was strong enough. With his soul perception, Yi Chunfeng carefully flew into the depths of the pitch-black space. As he flew, he released his soul power and discovered a large number of living creatures ahead. They wriggled and emitted a thick smell of blood. They were crawling towards him at an extremely fast speed. So many blood-sucking bugs. Through the space illuminated by the moonlight stone, Yi Chunfeng discovered that a large number of blood-red blood-sucking bugs with round mouths, no eyes, and 2 long antennae had appeared in front of him. Death Flame Skyfire, Purple Beginnings Sacred Thunder, attack. Thousands of blood-sucking bugs attacked. Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the Death Flame Skyfire to envelop his body. He released extremely destructive Purple Beginnings Sacred Thunder to attack the tide of blood-sucking bugs. Although the blood-sucking bugs' attack power was terrifying, both the Death Flame Skyfire and the Purple Beginnings Sacred Thunder were their nemesis. Under the attacks of the Purple Beginnings Sacred Thunder and the Death Flame Skyfire, large numbers of blood-sucking bugs were shattered and turned to ashes. Yi Chunfeng's speed did not decrease. He was like a sharp dagger as he rapidly tore through the blood-sucking bugs and continued flying into the depths of the pitch-black space. Soon Yi Chunfeng tore through the blood-sucking bugs like a hot knife through butter. Not far ahead, he felt a powerful suppressive aura. 5 elements Dao Steel. After approaching, Yi Chunfeng discovered a 10-meter-tall Dao steel with a large number of 5 elements Dao patterns carved on it. Standing under the 5 elements steel, the blood-sucking bugs chasing relentlessly did not dare to approach Yi Chunfeng. However, more and more blood-sucking bugs were gathering and sealing off his retreat. The densely packed bugs made one's scalp tingle. I didn't expect there to be a 5 elements Dao steel in this space. I wonder if I can comprehend the Dao intent contained within the 5 elements Dao steel and cultivate the 5 elements Dao diagram to the great perfection realm. His fiend god bloodline burned, and he had the strength to uproot mountains and rivers. Time was limited. Yi Chunfeng wanted to move the 5 elements Dao steel into the universe realm. He turned it scarlet red. His majestic and strong godly demon body erupted with a force of 100 million jin as he forcefully pulled. But when he tried to move the 5-element Dao steel, he discovered that the weight of this Dao steel far exceeded his expectations. Even when he pushed his physical strength to the limit, he was still unable to move the 5-element Dao steel. 5 Dao intents, Heaven Dao intent, Heaven Dao intent, pull. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and once again deduced the 3 fused Dao intents to the extreme. They transformed into a giant Dao intent hand and erupted with a powerful Dao intent energy to pull out the 5 elements Dao steel. But no matter what method Yi Chunfeng tried, no matter what methods he used, he was unable to shake the 5 elements Dao steel in the slightest. Finally, Yi Chunfeng summoned all the helpers in the universe realm and gathered everyone's strength to pull out the 5 elements Dao steel. But this 5 elements Dao steel was too heavy. Even with the help of the spiritual fishes and chaos divine beasts, they were unexpectedly unable to move the 5 elements Dao steel. Helpless, Yi Chunfeng could only give up. He controlled his God-Eater brain and forcefully engraved the 5 elements Dao patterns in the 5 elements Dao steel. I hope the Marquis of Qianming and the others don't come in and disturb me. Yi Chunfeng closed his eyes and increased the God-Eater brain's deduction speed to the limit. It seeped into the 5 elements Tao steel and forcefully engraved the innate 5 elements Tao patterns in the God-Eater brain. It has been 2 hours and that Xian Shu is still not dead. It seems like the space he is in is safer. Let's go in. The Marquis of Qianming and the others waited patiently for more than 2 hours. When they discovered that Yi Chunfeng's life soul stone was still intact, they were completely relieved. They tore apart the distortion power in the void and flew into the terrifying spatial whirlpool. What a terrifying spatial distortion power! When they forcefully passed through the spatial whirlpool, the Marquis of Qianming and the others discovered that the spatial whirlpool's distortion power was beyond their imagination. Even with their strength, they still felt immense pressure. Suddenly, an expert from the East Sea Palace, who didn't have a strong physical body, couldn't withstand the spatial distortion power and let out a painful cry. His entire body was forcefully crushed and he died on the spot. This spatial whirlpool is very dangerous. You guys wait outside and don't go in. Seeing that the expert from the East Sea Palace had been crushed into minced meat, the Marquis of Qianming's expression changed slightly. He shouted loudly and endured the terrifying spatial distortion power with old Zhe as they rushed into the spatial whirlpool. Mo Fengyun, where did your disciple come from? How could he have such a strong physical body? Yu Gu and the others were shocked when they saw that a level 3 beast emperor expert from the East Sea Palace was torn apart by the spatial whirlpool. However, Yi Chunfeng was able to withstand the spatial distortion power and enter the spatial whirlpool. Mo Fengyun casually made up a lie. My disciple has an indestructible diamond body and his defense is comparable to a level 4 beast emperor. That's why the spatial whirlpool couldn't kill him. How could there be such a physique? Yu Gu and the others looked at each other and questioned. The world is full of wonders. When I saw Xian Shu, I was also shocked by his physique. Otherwise, I wouldn't have accepted him as my last disciple, Mo Fengyun slowly explained. Hearing Mo Fengyun's explanation, Yu Gu felt even more vexed. He was vexed that Yi Chunfeng was chosen by the Marquis of Qianming, causing the Yu family to miss out on a great genius. As the God-Eater brain continued to evolve, its deduction ability also increased. After more than an hour, the 5 elemental runes contained in the 5 elemental steel were imprinted in the brain of the God-Eater brain. This speed of imprinting exceeded Yi Chunfeng's expectations. When the God-Eater brain was imprinting the 5 elemental runes, it felt the power of the forbidden runes in the 5 elemental steel. It also vaguely felt that there was a bloodline suppressed under the soul-suppressing steel. Could this be the suppressing steel? Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. He felt that the existence of this 5 elemental steel should have some other special meaning. The God-Eater brain broke the forbidden runes. The reason why the 5 elemental steel was so heavy had a lot to do with the forbidden runes hidden in the steel. Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to forcefully break the forbidden runes in the 5 elemental runes. He wanted to see what was suppressed under the soul-suppressing steel. Crack! Under the God-Eater brain's all-out effort, the forbidden runes hidden in the 5 elemental steel were constantly broken. Slowly, the power released by the God-Eater brain seeped into the 5 elemental steel and found a drop of golden blood that had been suppressed for countless years. Golden blood. What kind of person's bloodline had golden blood? Although Yi Chunfeng couldn't sense the true state of this drop of golden blood because of the 5 elemental steel's suppression, he had a feeling that this drop of golden blood was no small matter. Its value was beyond imagination. Everyone come out. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Beast, the Spirit Fish, and the others. With everyone's help, he pulled out the 5 elemental steel. More than half of the 5 elemental steel's restrictions were broken by the God-Eater brain. The Tao steel's restriction power was greatly reduced. With everyone's help, the 5 elemental steel was pulled out bit by bit, revealing a gap. An abnormally terrifying bloodline power spread out from the gap of the 5 elemental steel. The drop of golden blood that was suppressed by the steel became restless. Chaos divine wood suppressed. Seeing that the 5 elemental steel's suppression was gone, the drop of golden blood broke free. Yi Chunfeng summoned the chaos divine wood and released the light of chaos to suppress the drop of golden blood. When the chaos divine wood suppressed the drop of golden blood, the restless drop of golden blood suddenly calmed down. It didn't resist and allowed the chaos divine wood to swallow it. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1042. This golden blood droplet was suppressed so easily? The Chaos Divine would suppress the golden blood droplet effortlessly, which surprised Yi Chunfeng. Could it be? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and wanted to study this golden blood droplet. His powerful soul energy sensed the aura of the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe. He immediately put the Chaos Divine Wood, the Spirit Fish, and the others into the universe realm and purposely fell into the dense swarm of blood-sucking bugs. He let out a weak cry for help and allowed the extremely ferocious blood-sucking bugs to suck his blood to create an illusion. The cry for help was from that Xian Shu. When they heard the extremely weak cry for help in the pitch-black space, the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe suddenly sped up and flew over. With the help of the moonstones floating above their heads, they saw Yi Chunfeng being swallowed by the swarm of blood-sucking bugs with half of his body exposed and struggling in pain. Heavenly fire heart flame, burn. The Marquis of Qianming opened his mouth and spewed out scorching heavenly fire. It burned the thousands of blood-sucking bugs, burning their bodies and annihilating them. Meanwhile, Old Zhe flew over and condensed a Tao intent giant hand. He grabbed Yi Chunfeng, who was half swallowed by the blood-sucking bugs and seemed to be on the verge of death, and directly pulled him out from the swarm of blood-sucking bugs. What was that? After saving Yi Chunfeng, the Marquis of Qianming's powerful soul energy sensed the existence of the 5-element tablet. He released the heavenly fire heart flame to burn the blood-sucking bugs that were swarming over while he approached Old Zhe, who was carrying Yi Chunfeng. 5-element Tao tablet. The Marquis of Qianming was overjoyed when he sensed the 5-element Tao intent contained in the Tao tablet. Although he had cultivated the Thunder Tao intent to perfection and condensed the Thunder Tao diagram, he didn't have a deep understanding of the 5-element Tao intent. If he could obtain this 5-element Tao tablet, he would be able to comprehend the 5-element Tao intent and deepen his strength. He would be able to build a solid foundation to survive the world, extinguishing heavenly punishment and break into nirvana. Rise! The Marquis of Qianming shouted and condensed the sky-splitting hand. He grabbed the 5-element Tao tablet and wanted to pull it out from the ground. However, even a chaos divine beast with a strength of more than 200 million jin could not pull this 5-elements Tao tablet out, let alone him. The Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe tried everything they could, but they were unable to uproot the 5-elemental steel. Helpless, they abandoned Yi Chunfeng under the 5-elemental steel and began to comprehend the 5-elemental patterns contained within the 5-elemental steel. Although the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe didn't have a heaven-defying item like the God-Eater Brain, they were still great figures who had challenged the Heaven Domain's almighty figures. Their talents were extremely high. They sat under the 5-elemental steel and studied it for 3 days and 3 nights. They comprehended the dozens of 5-elemental inscriptions contained within the 5-elemental steel and cultivated the 5-elemental intents to the 4th heavenly layer. Marquis, should we abandon this burden here or take him to explore this space? Old Zhe asked. On account of Mo Fengyun's contribution, we will save his disciple this time. The Marquis of Qianming glanced at Yi Chunfeng, who seemed to have lost too much blood and was unconscious, and said slowly, "Okay." Old Zhe nodded and summoned a spider puppet. It carried Yi Chunfeng and continued to explore this pitch-black space with him. They spent more than a day searching through this space. Other than finding the 5 elemental steel and tens of thousands of blood-sucking bugs, they found nothing. Let's go. It seems like the 5 elemental steel is the only opportunity in this space. The Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe didn't waste too much time. They took Yi Chunfeng and left this pitch-black space. They forcefully passed through the space whirlpool and appeared outside. When the 3 of them left the space whirlpool, the 3 space whirlpools strangely disappeared. Xian Shu, seeing Yi Chunfeng, who was squeezed by the space whirlpool and covered in blood, being brought out by Old Zhe, Mo Fengyun's heart tightened. He immediately flew over and asked anxiously, "Don't worry, he won't die." Old Zhe handed Yi Chunfeng to Mo Fengyun and said, "But this kid is really strong. Even such a terrifying space whirlpool couldn't crush him. In time, this kid's future is limitless." "Marquis, what is in the space whirlpool?" The level 9 heavenly beast Golden Lion asked curiously. It wanted to know what kind of opportunity was hidden in the space whirlpool. "There is only one 5 elemental steel inside. There is no other opportunity," the Marquis of Qianming said faintly. Although the harvest was not much, the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe were quite satisfied with the 5 elemental steel's cultivation to the 4th heavenly layer. "Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's move on." After speaking, the Marquis of Qianming didn't stay here for long. He continued to lead everyone into the abyss of hell. Yi Chunfeng seemed to be severely injured and unconscious. Mo Fengyun summoned his contract beast, the Scarlet Bloodbat, and carried Yi Chunfeng, who was pretending to be unconscious but was actually controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce the 5 elemental steel's Tao. 9 heavens of the 5 elemental steely. After nearly a day of deduction and comprehension, while the Marquis of Qianming and the others were fighting fiercely with a large number of dead souls, Yi Chunfeng comprehended the 5 elemental steel's Tao to the 9th heavenly layer. After another day or so, Yi Chunfeng completely comprehended the 5 elemental steel engraved in his soul C under the full power of the God-Eater brain's deduction. He cultivated the 5 elemental steel to the perfection stage as he wished and condensed a mysterious 5 elemental steel in his soul C. After cultivating for more than 30 years, Yi Chunfeng had become a 4th-grade beast emperor, cultivated the Tao will of sword, the Tao will of 5 elements, and the Tao will of life and death to the great perfection realm, and condensed the 3 great Tao diagrams. In the long history of the Duhan continent, there had never been such a stunning talent like him. Only in the vaster heaven domain could such a genius be born. After cultivating the 5 elemental steel to the perfection stage, Yi Chunfeng still pretended to be unconscious and began to use his mind to study the drop of golden blood that was swallowed by the chaos divine wood. Strange, why does this drop of golden blood give me a familiar feeling? Could it be that this drop of golden blood is related to my background? When Yi Chunfeng was studying the drop of golden blood, he felt that the drop of golden blood was connected to his bloodline, as if this drop of blood belonged to him. With this feeling, Yi Chunfeng suppressed the excitement in his heart and continued to study this drop of golden blood. Suddenly, the temperature in the air dropped again. A majestic and tall ice palace appeared before everyone's eyes. It was as if it was carved out of a block of ice. There were coiling dragon pillars erected on top of it. It occupied a space of dozens of miles and emitted rays of cold light. It gave people a shocking feeling. Ice palace, why is there an ice palace here? Looking at the majestic ice palace in front of them, the eyes of the Marquis of Qianming and the others lit up. They all flew over, wanting to rush into the ice palace. However, when they got close to the ice palace, cold pillars suddenly rose from the surroundings of the ice palace and shot into the sky. In the next moment, a frost array diagram that was 1 mile wide appeared in the sky above the ice palace. It spilled out densely packed array patterns and formed an extremely powerful frost array. It enveloped the ice palace and blocked everyone outside the array. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1043. What a mysterious icy formation! As Master Lu Yun looked at the ice formation before him, which was covered in formation patterns and gave off a vigorous aura, his eyes burned with fervor and competitiveness. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. More than 1,000 supreme-grade formation flags flew out of his body and fluttered above his head. They quickly evolved into a powerful offensive formation. The formation rotated and released thousands of formation inscriptions to attack the icy formation. Boom! Under the attack of the offensive formation controlled by Master Lu Yun, the icy formation that enveloped the ice palace trembled violently. Ice formation inscriptions flowed and collided with the offensive formation in the air, causing a loud noise. At this time, Yi Chunfeng stopped studying the drop of golden blood and pretended to wake up from his coma. He looked at the ice palace that was enveloped in the icy formation. Marquis, Old Zay, this icy formation is very powerful. Please lend me a hand. Master Lu Yun continued to evolve the formation. After attacking for more than an hour, he gradually could not withstand the attack of the icy formation. The supreme grade formation flags broke one by one, which put him under great pressure. He had to ask Marquis Qianming and Old Zay for help. Okay. Marquis Qianming and Old Zay also had a certain level of attainment in formations. They struck out formation inscriptions and integrated them into the offensive formation. They forcibly stabilized the offensive formation that was constantly cracking and increased the power of the formation to attack the icy formation. Under the joint deduction of Marquis Qianming and Old Zay, the power of the offensive formation continued to increase. It gradually resisted the icy formation and fought fiercely in the void. Mo Fengyun attacked that node. Under the deduction of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng locked onto a weak node of the icy formation and transmitted a message to Mo Fengyun. Yes. Mo Fengyun's pupils shrank. He locked onto the space node and summoned the ghost-killing formation map to attack it. Boom! Under the attack of the formation inscriptions released by the ghost-killing formation map, a large number of formation inscriptions were torn. The weak space node trembled violently and cracks spread rapidly. Break! Master Lu Yun did not miss this excellent opportunity. He controlled the offensive formation to attack the node that was constantly cracking. He blasted a huge hole in the icy formation and greatly weakened the power of the icy formation. Devil Wind and Cloud, attack 3 meters to the northwest. The God-Eater brain deduced another spatial node. Yi Chunfeng immediately told Mo Fengyun to attack it. Boom! Under the attack of Mo Fengyun's ghost-killing array, the northwest part of the Great Ice Array once again cracked. Master Lu Yun and the other two seized the opportunity and controlled the Great Ice Array to destroy it in one fell swoop. The Great Ice Formation was broken one after another, directly damaging the base of the formation. Several pillars of cold light that shot up into the sky were shattered, and the power of the Great Ice Formation plummeted. Mo Fengyun attacked the array core with all his might. Yi Chunfeng transmitted the location of the array core to Mo Fengyun via voice transmission, asking him to continue attacking. The array core was continuously attacked by the ghost-killing array diagrams, and the cold light pillars were damaged one after another. At this time, under the attack of the ghost-killing array, Master Lu Yun also found the location of the array center and controlled the killing array to attack with full force. Finally, a crisp cracking sound rang out. The ice pillars around the ice palace shattered, and the ice array gradually disappeared into the void. Mo Fengyun, I didn't expect you to be so proficient in array formations. Master Lu Yun looked at Mo Fengyun and said slowly, if we have time, How about we exchange our understanding of array formations? If Mo Fengyun hadn't broken the nodes of the array twice and found the array core, they would have to spend more time and effort to break the Great Ice Formation. Good, if you have the chance, please consult Master Lu Yun. Mo Fengyun nodded and said casually, "Let's go in and see what's in this ice palace." As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng and the others faced the cold air that was enough to freeze an ordinary beast emperor to death and flew to the ice palace gate that was nearly 100 meters high. The palace gate was so tall. Standing under the huge palace gate that was inlaid with two beast heads, Yi Chunfeng felt small, as if he had come to the world of giants. Jin Shi, Barbarian Bull, pushed the gate. Marquis Qianming summoned the demon snake seal and ordered the two level 9 heavenly beasts to push the tall palace gate. Battle form. The door of the ice palace was incomparably heavy. Golden Lion and Barbarian Bull transformed into their strongest battle form. They stimulated all the demon energy in their body and pushed the door with all their might. The ice on the surface of the Beast Head Palace cracked as they forcefully pushed the door open. A strong and ancient cold air filled the air from the gap. The cold air was so strong that it directly froze the two heavenly beasts into ice sculptures. Heavenly fire, heart flame, burn. Marquis Qianming spat out a scorching heavenly fire, melting the ice on Jin Shi and Barbarian Bull. The ancient cold air burned and whistled. Ao ao. The ice melted, and Jin Shi and Barbarian Bull let out a shocking roar. Their bucket-sized arms burst out with shocking strength and pushed the gate open, opening a gap that was more than half a meter long. "Xian Shu, we have protected you for so long. Shouldn't you help us explore the dangers inside?" Sakuraji's charming eyes revealed a cold light. She looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was not far away, and said maliciously, "Sai, if you are afraid of death, then don't come. What a joke to be so timid." Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and ridiculed. Then, without waiting for Ying Jiuying to get angry, he walked into the dark, low-temperature ice palace with the ancient cold air that had become much thinner. "Brat, just you wait. Sooner or later, I will let you die in my hands." Sakuraji gritted her teeth and swore in her heart. The more she looked at Yi Chunfeng, the more she disliked him. "Come on, let's go in too." Sensing that Yi Chunfeng was fine, Marquis Qianming and the others did not waste any more time and walked into the ice palace. With the help of the moonstones floating above Yi Chunfeng's head, they could see the true appearance of the entire ice palace. Medicine furnace, a medicine furnace. Although the entire ice palace was built in an imposing manner, with coiling dragon pillars made of extraordinary materials, and the floor was paved with expensive white jade, everyone's attention was attracted by a fiery red medicine furnace with two lifelike fire phoenixes carved on it. It floated above an ancient array. Blocked by the ancient array, everyone could not detect the quality of the medicine furnace. However, at first glance everyone could feel that it was extraordinary. This medicine furnace could not be a sacred weapon, right? Marquis Qianming's eyes lit up as he looked at the medicine furnace in the distance and revealed an excited expression. Although the Kirin kingdom also had sacred weapons, every sacred weapon was a national treasure. With Marquis Qianming's status, he could not come into contact with them. If he could obtain a sacred weapon, he was 100% sure that he could survive the world-ending heavenly punishment and break through to nirvana. He would be promoted to a prince of the Kirin kingdom and have great power. Moreover, he felt that the medicine furnace in front of him might be nurturing an ancient elixir. If he did not smell the scent of death from the ancient array around the medicine furnace, he would have rushed over and subdued this suspected sacred weapon furnace. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1044. Flowing Light Array with a thought from Master Lu Yun, 999 supreme-grade formation flags flew out of his body and formed a large formation above his head. They turned into streams of light and attacked the ancient formation around the medicinal cauldron like a rapidly flowing galaxy. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. The flowing light array was one of the 3 ancient arrays controlled by Master Lu Yun. It was very powerful. However, when the streams of flowing light hit the ancient array around the furnace, it was like a stone sinking into the sea. There wasn't even a ripple. Reversing flowing light array. Master Lu Yun raised his eyebrows slightly. He spat a few mouthfuls of blood essence into the flowing light array at all costs. He forcefully reversed the flowing light array and increased its power to attack the ancient array. After being attacked by the reversing flowing light array, the ancient array around the furnace started to tremble. A large number of light runes that looked like they were made of ice appeared and floated in the ancient array. They flickered with cold light and froze the reversing flowing light array. What a powerful array! After witnessing the power of the ancient array, Master Lu Yun found it even more difficult to deal with. However, he didn't give up. He summoned all the array flags he had and created a powerful array to attack the ancient array. He wanted to use the array to break the ancient array. However, the ancient array around the furnace was too powerful. It was far more powerful than the flowing light array outside. Even when Master Lu Yun created the offensive array to the extreme, he still couldn't shake it. Mo Fengyun, can you find the breaking point of this ancient array? The Marquis of Qianming saw that Master Lu Yun was having a hard time breaking the array. He looked at Mo Fengyun, who seemed to have an extraordinary array attainment, and asked softly, "Let me try." Mo Fengyun sat cross-legged on the ground and released a powerful soul power. He seemed to be deducing the truth of this ancient array. Mo Fengyun pretended to be deducing the truth of the ancient array. Yi Chunfeng, who was standing at the back, was really controlling the God-Eater brain to deduce the powerful ancient array in front of him. He was looking for an opportunity to break the array. "Marquis, Old Zhe, this ancient array is too powerful. You need to help me." Beads of sweat appeared on Master Lu Yun's forehead. He was exhausted and felt dizzy. He had to ask for help. "All right." For the sake of obtaining this medicinal furnace that was suspected to be a saint artifact, the Marquis of Qianming and Elder Zhe sat cross-legged on Master Lu Yun's left and right respectively. They controlled their soul energy and Tao insights to ceaselessly form numerous formation markings that fused into the Grand Offensive Formation and increased the might of the Grand Offensive Formation. As the power of the Grand Slaughtering Formation continued to increase, the repulsion between the Grand Slaughtering Formation and the Ancient Formation became more and more intense. Looking from afar, cold light shot out in all directions, rippling the void. After attacking for more than 2 hours without any effect, Master Lu Yun quickly took out 108 silver needles from his universe ring and pierced them into the 108 acupoints on his body, forcibly stimulating his body's potential and releasing a large amount of blood. 9 demons formation. In the next moment, he fused all the blood he released into the thousands of formation flags, activating the power of the formation flags and forming the first ancient formation that he had mastered after nearly 100 years of research. A large number of formation runes transformed into 9 faintly discernible ancient demons that roared into the sky. "Everyone, attack with me. Let's see if we can break the formation by force." Master Lu Yun, whose face was pale without a trace of blood, shouted loudly. After saying that, his hands quickly twisted and formed several complicated hand seals. He controlled the 9 terrifying ancient demons and attacked the ancient formation that enveloped the medicine furnace. Demon Snake Seal, Yin-Yang Chessboard, Sea God Statue. The moment Master Lu Yun controlled the 9 demons formation to attack, the Marquis of Qianming, Hemingway Map, and the others controlled their respective Dao treasures and Gu Dao treasure to attack as well. They erupted with earth-shattering power and forcefully broke the formation. Under the joint attack of everyone, the ancient formation suddenly went berserk. A large number of ice-light talismans flowed in all directions, freezing everything. They forcibly froze the 9 great ancient demons, several Tao treasures, and Gu Tao treasure in mid-air, neutralizing the ferocious attack. Demon Snake Seal, return. Witnessing the scene of the demon snake seal being frozen, the Marquis of Qianming immediately forcefully summoned the demon snake seal, wanting to shatter the ice and summon it back. However, the cold air released by the ice-light talismans was too terrifying. Whether it was the demon snake seal or the yin-yang chessboard, they were all frozen. No matter how the Marquis of Qianming, Old Zhe, and the others tried to summon them, they could not summon them back. 9 great ancient demons explode. Master Lu Yun's expression changed slightly. He forcefully self-detonated the 9 great ancient demons and used the powerful force of the explosion to shatter the ice. However, the power of the ice-light talismans floating in the ancient formation was too terrifying. The self-detonation of the 9 great ancient demons was still unable to shatter the ice that froze the Tao treasure, Gu Tao treasure. Puff! The self-detonation of the 9 great ancient demons caused Master Lu Yun to immediately suffer a soul power backlash. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth, and the meridians in his body were severely damaged. Heavenly Domain Formation. This ancient formation should have come from the hands of a Heavenly Domain Almighty. Master Lu Yun wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and was shocked. What should we do? If we can't break this ancient formation, not to mention the medicine furnace, even our Tao treasure, Gu Tao treasure, will be abandoned here. The Marquis of Qianming said with a frown. I'm thinking of a way to study this ancient formation and see if there's a way to break it. Master Lu Yun gave up on the idea of forcefully breaking the ancient formation. He sat cross-legged outside the ancient formation that was emitting waves of cold air. As he healed his injuries, he released his soul power to study the ancient formation. The Marquis of Qianming and the others tried several times but failed to retrieve their respective Tao treasures. Gu Tao treasure had no choice but to give up and wait for Master Lu Yun to figure out a way to break the ancient formation. Time was also waiting, and it quickly passed by. While Master Lu Yun was studying the ancient formation, Yi Chenfeng was also controlling the God-Eater brain. After nearly 10 days of comprehension, a large number of formation patterns appeared in the God-Eater brain. These formation patterns were similar to the formation patterns in the ancient formation. Ancient Ice Sky Vast Formation. He didn't expect the God-Eater brain to have the inherited memories of the ancient Ice Sky Vast Formation. The ancient Ice Sky Vast Formation was passed down by the demon race of the Heaven region. It was one of the ancient formations passed down by the demon race. When he comprehended the ancient formation in front of him, part of the God-Eater brain's memories were awakened. This made Yi Chenfeng overjoyed. He combined the God-Eater brain's memories to find a way to break the formation. Soon, the God-Eater brain deduced the way to set up the ancient Ice Sky Array and found a way to control the ancient formation. He wondered if he could kill the Marquis of Qianming and the others with the help of the ancient Ice Sky Array. Being with the Marquis of Qianming and the others made Yi Chenfeng gradually lose his patience. If not for the fact that Yi Chenfeng was not completely confident that he could kill them all, he would have summoned the Chaos Divine Beast to kill them all. But now, Yi Chenfeng had a way to control the extremely powerful ancient Ice Sky Array. With the power of this ancient formation, he was completely capable of killing the Marquis of Qianming and the others. Through the soul search, he could obtain the great secret of the abyss of hell. After about a day or so, the God-Eater brain's power silently seeped into the ancient Ice Sky Barrier formation. After trying a few times, Yi Chenfeng slowly gained control of the formation patterns that filled the ancient Ice Sky Barrier formation. He started trying to control the formation core. As long as he controlled the array core, the ancient Ice Sky Array would be under his control. 9-demon formation. Just as Yi Chunfeng was using the God-Eater Brain's power to control the ancient Ice Sky Array's array core, Master Lu Yun, who had been deducing for more than 10 days, suddenly opened his eyes. He stimulated his own potential and released a large amount of blood. He set up the 9-demon formation again and attacked the 3 weak nodes of the ancient Ice Sky Array. This caused the ancient Ice Sky Array to tremble violently, allowing the Marquis of Qianming and the others to retrieve the frozen Dao treasure, the Gu Dao treasure. He was indeed a famous array master in the Kirin Kingdom. His attainments in array formations were indeed terrifying. Seeing the cracks in the ancient Ice Sky Array, Yi Chunfeng could not help but have a higher opinion of Master Lu Yun. Great, this ancient formation is about to be broken. Seeing the cracks in the ancient Ice Sky Array, the Marquis of Qianming and the others were pleasantly surprised. But as they were overjoyed and waiting, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater Brain to slowly control the ancient Ice Sky Array's array core. He secretly controlled this ancient formation. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1045. What are you waiting for? Let's attack the cracks of the ancient formation together and break it. Seeing more and more cracks on the ancient Ice Sky Array, Marquis Qianming and the rest immediately summoned their Dao artifacts and flew into the sky. They used their powerful Dao techniques to attack the ancient formation. The ancient Ice Sky Array is not so easy to break. Although cracks appeared on the ancient Ice Sky Array, Yi Chunfeng, who was controlling the ancient formation, knew that they had only broken 3 layers of restrictions. If they wanted to completely break the ancient formation, they would need to break another 3 layers of restrictions. However, Yi Chunfeng intended to exhaust their soul power and did not control the ancient Ice Sky Array to counterattack. He sat cross-legged in the most inconspicuous place and waited patiently. Everyone's attacks became more and more intense. The Dao techniques that filled the sky only caused a large number of cracks to appear on the ancient formation, but they could not shake the foundation of the ancient Ice Sky Array. As time passed, Marquis Qianming, Old Zhe, and the rest became more and more exhausted. Master Lu Yun was so exhausted that he could no longer control the 9 demons array. Just as Marquis Qianming and the rest had no choice but to give up, the ancient Ice Sky Array that was full of cracks suddenly emitted a cold light. A large number of icy light talismans were like dancing butterflies. They released a tidal wave of cold air and suddenly flew towards the shocked Marquis Qianming and the rest. Quickly gather together. Although Marquis Qianming and the rest could not figure out why the ancient Ice Sky Array suddenly counterattacked, they quickly gathered together and summoned their respective treasures to guard against any possible danger. Quite alert, Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged and motionless outside the demon-vanquishing storm, smiled coldly as he watched the Marquis of Qianming and the others working together to defend. He controlled the God-Eater Brain to quickly deduce and activate the power of the ancient Ice Sky Array, freezing the entire space. A large amount of ice spread in the space, and the entire space was frozen. The bone-chilling cold air kept invading the bodies of Marquis Qianming and the rest, freezing them. Heavenly Fire Heart Flame. Marquis Qianming's body was frozen. He controlled the heavenly fire to melt the ice and dispel the cold air that invaded his body. Old Zhe, the 2 level 9 heavenly beasts, Hemingway Map, and the others all unleashed their most powerful techniques to resist the cold, tearing apart the ice in an attempt to escape. However, the cold air released by the frosty light talisman in the ancient ice vast array was too terrifying. In an instant, the 3 level 3 beast emperors were completely frozen by the cold air, turning into 3 lifelike ice sculptures. Raging Flame Array Master Lu Yun, who had expended a lot of energy, took out a great Dao pill covered in black markings from his universe ring and swallowed it. Borrowing the strong medicinal energy of this medicinal pill, a faint flush appeared on Master Liu Yun's pale face. He controlled a large number of supreme-grade formation flags and turned them into a blazing flame formation, enveloping everyone. Just as everyone was using all their skills to defend against the Frost Light Talisman, Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly stood up, shocking everyone present. How could this be? How could he ignore the attacks of the ancient boundless ice formation and not die? How did he do it? Looking at Yi Chunfeng moving freely in the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation, Marquis Qianming and the others were dumbfounded, revealing looks of disbelief. This Xian Shu was strange. At this time, everyone could see that there was something wrong with Yi Chunfeng. His strength was definitely not as low as he appeared, otherwise, he would not be able to resist the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation. Xian Shu, I ask you, did you kill Jiangshan? Sakuraji looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was full of strangeness, and felt more and more that Hai Jiangshan's death had something to do with him. So what? What can you do to me? Yi Chunfeng smiled coldly, looking at the angry Sakuraji, and asked calmly. Little bastard, Jiangshan was killed by you. Hai Jiangshan glared at Yi Chunfeng with his blood-red eyes, like an angry body. His eyes were spitting fire as he looked at Yi Chunfeng, wishing he could tear him into pieces. Why? Are you angry? Yi Chunfeng sneered, looking at the angry Hemingway map, and said, I really don't want to tell you, but I also killed Hai Sanjian. What do you mean you also killed Sanjian? You are Yi Chunfeng. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's words, Hemingway map, Yu Chan, and the others were shocked. They widened their eyes, unable to believe that the person in front of them was Yi Chunfeng. You are very smart. Yi Chunfeng smiled faintly and admitted straightforwardly. He was going to subdue the medicine furnace and kill Marquis Qianming and the others with the help of the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation, so he did not hide his identity. Yi Chunfeng, did you also kill Jili? Yu Yuan looked at Yi Chunfeng viciously and asked coldly. Yes, not only did I kill Yu Jili, but I also killed Hai Pingyang, and I also got the treasure in the space vortex. Yi Chunfeng admitted with a smile. Yi Chunfeng, I swear I will crush your bones and scatter your ashes to avenge Jili. Yu Yuan said with murderous intent. Well, save your energy. Yi Chunfeng said mockingly. If I were you, I would not think about how to avenge those trash, but how to get out of here alive. Good spirit, you played us like a fool. Marquis Qianming's eyes flashed with cold light and said, But do you think you can threaten our lives by yourself? Nothing is absolute in this world. As he spoke, Yi Chunfeng's hands moved quickly and made many complicated hand signs. The formation patterns merged into the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation, further increasing the power of the ancient formation. Once again, a large number of icy light talismans attacked Hemingway map and the others. How is it possible? How can you control this ancient formation? Seeing Yi Chunfeng make the same formation patterns as the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation, Master Liu Yun's heart was in turmoil. He lost his composure and exclaimed, Why is it difficult? Yi Chunfeng showed a proud smile and said, Enjoy it slowly. Let's see how long you can live. Little B****, you will die a horrible death. You will not have a good ending. Sakuraji's pupils shrank horribly. Like a shrew, she kept cursing Yi Chunfeng. Chi. More than 10 sharp sword lights flashed through the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation, swallowing and spitting out sharp light. They attacked Sakuraji at an extremely fast speed. Suddenly attacked by Yi Chunfeng, Sakuraji instinctively wanted to block, but the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation was too powerful. A large amount of cold air greatly restricted Sakuraji's movement. When Sakuraji tried to block with all her strength, more than 10 sword lights flashed through her body. The long dress made of silk on her body was torn apart, revealing her skin as white as jade. There was not a single blemish on it, revealing a beautiful body that was fatally tempting. Her clothes were torn apart by Yi Chenfeng. Sakuraji's face turned red. She screamed and quickly covered her sensitive parts with her hand. I didn't expect you to take good care of yourself. You are so old, but you take care of yourself like a little girl. Yi Chenfeng looked at the panicked Sakuraji and said jokingly, "Look if you want. Don't hide it. If you don't look, I'm afraid you won't be able to see it in the future." Yi Chenfeng, I'm not done with you. Sakuraji had never been humiliated like this. Her eyes turned red as she roared with grief and anger. Wait until you are alive to leave here. After that, Yi Chenfeng ignored Sakuraji, Marquis Qianming, and the others. He took Mo Fengyun and quickly traveled through the ancient ice heavenly expanse formation. Soon, they arrived at the floating medicine furnace that was covered with ancient patterns and exuded an ancient aura. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1046. What a terrifying aura! What level of treasure was this elixir furnace? Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Yi Chenfeng looked at the medicine cauldron that had 2 ears and 3 legs. It was about 1 meter tall, and its body was engraved with flowers, birds, fish, and insects. It was so lifelike that Yi Chenfeng felt an unimaginable power being released from the medicine cauldron, as if it came from ancient times. He could only feel such a terrifying power when he was in the strongest power of the 9-dragon jade annulus. Could this elixir furnace be a supreme-grade sacred treasure like the 9-dragon jade annulus? Yi Chenfeng was looking forward to this elixir furnace. If he could subdue it, it would definitely be a terrifying trump card. Like the Marquis of Qianming, he felt that this elixir furnace might be nurturing an unimaginable elixir pill. 5 elements Tao diagram, 5 elements hand. With a thought from Yi Chenfeng, 105 elemental Tao patterns shot out from his body and condensed into a 5 elemental diagram. Then, they transformed into a huge hand that covered the sky and grabbed the medicine furnace that was floating in midair. Kathy moment, the 5 elements hand grabbed the elixir furnace trembled slightly. A terrifying vibrating power was transmitted into the 5 elements hand, directly shattering the 5 elements Tao diagram. Sacred artifact. This elixir furnace was definitely a sacred artifact. If it could shatter the 5 elements hand so easily, it was definitely a sacred artifact. However, it wasn't easy to subdue a sacred artifact. Yi Chenfeng kept thinking of ways. While Yi Chenfeng was thinking, the Marquis of Qianming and the others were in big trouble. The number of icy light talismans in the ancient ice vast sky array was increasing, gradually extinguishing the raging flame array. The billowing cold air kept corroding their bodies, freezing them and damaging their meridians and organs. Soon, the 3 holy lands had casualties. Even an expert from the Kirin kingdom couldn't resist the cold air corrosion in the ancient ice vast sky array. His entire body was frozen into an ice sculpture. His life force was completely frozen, and he died. Skyfire heart flames melt. Seeing the raging flame array extinguished, the Marquis of Qianming controlled the Skyfire heart flames and injected it into the raging flame array, increasing its power and resisting the corrosion of a large number of icy light talismans. The chessboard of yin and yang, just relying on the raging flame formation and the heavenly fire heart flame, was not enough to stop the erosion of the cold air. Old Zay continuously spat out a few mouthfuls of blood into the yin-yang chessboard, activating the power of the chessboard. It turned into 2 yin and yang fishes that circled above their heads, pouring down the power of yin and yang to resist the cold air. At this moment of life and death, Yu Gu, Hemingway Map, and the others didn't hold back. They all used their trump cards to resist the cold and tried their best to leave this place. At this time, after discovering that the ancient ice vast sky formation was controlled by Yi Chenfeng, They no longer hoped to obtain the medicinal furnace. They only hoped to leave this place alive and slowly settle the score with Yi Chunfeng in the future. However, under the attack of several thousand frost light talismans, the Marquis of Qianming and the others found it difficult to move. Every single step they took required an enormous amount of energy, and in the process of moving, there were people who lost their lives under the attack of the frost light talismans. They were frozen into ice sculptures and lost their vitality. Yi Chunfeng, if I don't die, I'll definitely kill you no matter where you go. Under the tremendous pressure, the Marquis of Qianming looked at Yi Chunfeng under the cauldron as he muttered to himself through gritted teeth. Drip blood to claim ownership. After a moment of thought, Yi Chunfeng suddenly bit his finger and forced out a large amount of essence blood into the cauldron. He tried to forcefully claim ownership of it. However, when Yi Chunfeng's essence blood fused into the cauldron, a scorching energy was released from the cauldron, instantly melting his essence blood and denying him the chance to claim ownership. However, Yi Chunfeng did not give up. He continued to squeeze out large amounts of essence blood into the cauldron, trying to forcefully claim ownership of it. However, at this moment, the cauldron began to hum gently, and the vibration became louder and louder. Balls of extremely dangerous, dark gray flames emerged from the cauldron, turning into slowly blooming flowers of fire that attacked Yi Chunfeng. Dual polar ancient heavenly water. As large amounts of flowers of fire attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately controlled the dual pole ancient heavenly water to counter the attack, restraining the flowers of fire. However, when the dual pole ancient heavenly water, which was close to the power of sacred water, came into contact with the flowers of fire, large amounts of water vapor were immediately released. The water vapor was constantly evaporated by the flowers of fire, unable to withstand the attacks of the flowers of fire. Could this be the sacred fire? Seeing the dual polarity ancient heavenly water being continuously evaporated by the flowers of flames, Yi Chunfeng immediately released the purple beginnings holy thunder to attack. Finally, the flowers of flames were shattered one by one, turning into a large amount of sparks in mid-air, slowly disappearing into the void. What kind of cauldron was this? It actually contained flames that were comparable to the sacred fire. Wasn't it too terrifying? Yi Chunfeng looked at the cauldron with lingering fear and felt that it was getting more and more troublesome. Since forcefully claiming ownership of the cauldron with blood was unable to subdue the cauldron, Yi Chunfeng could only think of other methods. After a moment of deep thought, Yi Chunfeng suddenly sat cross-legged under the cauldron, controlling the God-Eater brain to understand the tool patterns in the cauldron. If the God-Eater brain could understand the tool patterns in the cauldron, it might be able to find a way to subdue the cauldron. Buzz buzz buzz. Under the God-Eater brain's full deduction, a large amount of tool patterns appeared in Yi Chunfeng's soul sea. These tool patterns were exactly the same as the ones in the cauldron. However, the cauldron contained too many tool patterns. Even if the God-Eater brain's deduction ability was heaven-defying, it was still unable to comprehend these tool patterns in a short period of time. Soon, more than 6 hours had passed. In these 6 hours, the Marquis of Qianming and the rest were constantly tested by life and death. If it wasn't for their numerous trump cards and extraordinary strength, they would have already been frozen to death by the ancient ice vast array. However, even with the protection of treasures, there were still people from the Kirin Kingdom and the 3 Holy Lands who were constantly losing their lives. Slowly, all the experts below Class 5 Combat Beast Emperor died. This time, out of the 70-plus people who entered the abyss of hell, only the Marquis of Qianming, Old Zhe, and a dozen others were left. The rest had all lost their lives in the ancient ice vast array and were frozen into lifelike ice sculptures. The number of casualties was something that the Marquis of Qianming and the rest did not expect. Just as they were thinking of ways to tear apart the ancient ice vast array and leave this dangerous place, Yi Chunfeng, who had been sitting cross-legged for 6 hours, suddenly opened his eyes. In the next moment, a large amount of tool patterns appeared in his body. These tool patterns were exactly the same as the ones in the cauldron. Merged with a thought, Yi Chunfeng forcefully imitated the tens of thousands of tool patterns and merged them into the cauldron. He tried to resonate with the tool patterns in the cauldron and subdue the cauldron. This method was the only method he could think of to subdue the cauldron. If there were no accidents, the tool patterns would resonate with each other. He had a high chance of subduing the cauldron. Just as Yi Chunfeng was looking forward to it and praying in his heart, something unexpected happened. The cauldron was like an ancient wild beast that had just awoken and let out a deafening roar. The powerful sound waves produced a terrifying airflow that bombarded Yi Chunfeng. Although Yi Chunfeng's soul was extremely powerful and his soul was guarded by the God-Eater brain, he still felt a splitting headache when he was attacked by the beast roar from the cauldron. A large amount of blood flowed out from the airflow, and his soul was almost torn apart. The tens of thousands of tool patterns that he had condensed also broke apart under the attack of this roar and disappeared into thin air. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1047. It was an artifact spirit. The artifact spirit of this cauldron was a beast soul. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect that subduing this artifact spirit would be so dangerous and difficult. However, he was determined to obtain this cauldron. He continued to control the God-Eater brain to deduce a large number of artifact patterns and fuse them into the cauldron. He wanted to match the artifact patterns and obtain the recognition of the artifact spirit. Howl, howl, howl. When Yi Chunfeng condensed the artifact spirit for the second time and subdued this suspected saint artifact cauldron, he completely enraged the artifact spirit. A terrifying soul spirit gushed out from the cauldron. The powerful aura surged like an ancient beast and roared at Yi Chunfeng. Xingluo's clone, defense. This roar was so powerful that Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to be careless. He immediately summoned Xingluo's clone to defend against this terrifying roar. Boom, 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 boom. A series of explosions rang out as terrifying sound waves surged out from Xingluo's clone. The powerful force forced Xingluo's clone to retreat step by step. Finally, it was sent flying by the surging sound waves and fell into the ancient ice sky array. Heavenly Venerate Bloodline Ignition, Green Sky Secret Art. Withstanding the immense pressure, Yi Chunfeng immediately ignited his Heavenly Venerate bloodline. He mobilized the power of heaven in the space and fused it into his body to increase his strength. His hands quickly formed seals and struck out a terrifying blue sky seal that seemed to contain the power of heaven and earth. It exploded the sound waves and attacked the cauldron. Howl, howl. When the cauldron was continuously attacked by Yi Chunfeng, a terrifying force completely awakened in the cauldron. A mighty and extraordinary divine bull spirit with explosive muscles and a sharp horn that was sharper than a supreme-grade Tao artifact emerged from the cauldron. Its eyes were deep purple and flashed with a ferocious light. It was the size of a small mountain and had a powerful aura. It roared at Yi Chunfeng. Purple-eyed mystic rhinoceros. The rumors were true. The abyss of hell was the tomb of the demon god purple-eyed mystic rhinoceros. This cauldron must be the demon Tharch cauldron that was refined by the demon god. The artifact spirit had been modified by the demon god to look like himself. Looking at the illusory image of the divine ox that appeared above the medicinal furnace, the Marquis of Qianming, who was using all his strength to resist the attacks of the Ice Light Talisman, recalled the origins of the divine ox. As for the demon emperors, they were on the same level as the human Tao emperors. They came from the heaven domain and were above the demon saints and demon venerables. They were extremely powerful and were the overlords of a small world in the heaven domain. They were omnipotent. A medicinal furnace refined by a shifter emperor was an incredible treasure even in the heaven region, let alone in the lower realm. After confirming the inheritance of the medicinal furnace, the Marquis of Qianming became even more envious. Old Zhe, let's use our final trump card to kill that brat and seize the furnace of the demonic emperor. The Marquis of Qianming used the supreme grade Dao artifact, Ice Dragon Sword, to defend against the attack of the Frost Light Talisman. He transmitted his voice to old Daoist Zhe. The furnace of the demon emperor is not that easy to subdue. Let's wait and see if that kid can subdue the furnace of the demon emperor. If he can, it will save us a lot of trouble. If he can't, it won't be too late for us to use our trump card. Old man Zhe felt that Yi Chunfeng was a little strange, so he transmitted his voice to Yi Chunfeng. Alright, let's wait a little longer. Although the ancient ice sky array was terrifying, the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe were nirvana experts of the Kirin Kingdom. They were comparable to a one-star Dao saint in the heaven region and had terrifying trump cards. They believed that once they used their trump cards, they would be able to kill Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun and take control of the situation. The reason why they were trapped in the ancient ice vast sky formation was to confuse Yi Chunfeng. As for the life and death of others, they didn't care. As long as they could get the furnace of the demon emperor and the inheritance of the demon emperor, they could accept any sacrifice. 3 heads and 6 arms. Feeling the threat of the purple-eyed black rhino, Yi Chunfeng intentionally hid his chaos spiritual beast and didn't summon it. Instead, he burned his celestial master bloodline and dragon bloodline and raised his strength to the extreme. He transformed into the ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms and held 6 heavy weapons in his hands. 3 heads and 6 arms. How could he know the mystique of the Kirin Kingdom? Seeing the scene of Yi Chunfeng transforming into 3 heads and 6 arms, the Marquis of Qianming and the others widened their eyes in disbelief. Those who weren't of the Kirin Kingdom's direct bloodline didn't have the ability to master the 3 heads and 6 arms mystique. Moreover, this mystique was never taught to outsiders. It was impossible for outsiders to learn it. This Yi Chunfeng had to be killed. The Marquis of Qianming, Old Zhe, and the others were determined to kill Yi Chunfeng. They would never allow the Kirin Kingdom's treasure, the 3 heads and 6 arms mystique, to be taught to outsiders. Once this mystique was obtained by the 9 heavens god nation and the 8 heads god nation, the consequences would be unimaginable. Roar! The purple-eyed black rhino roared angrily. The rolling sound waves smashed the space and bombarded the 3 heads and 6 arms mystique, who was attacking Yi Chunfeng with his 6 heavy weapons. Burning 3 major bloodlines and increasing his physical strength by nearly 200 million, Yi Chunfeng's attack power was extremely terrifying. It could even smash a mountain. However, when he was attacked by the purple-eyed black rhino's roar, his entire body trembled and his attack was completely suppressed. Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Gu Fanxing. After his attack was suppressed, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 2 Gu Dao treasures and infused the will of the Great Dao into the 2 Gu Dao treasures. He activated the power of the Gu Dao treasure and attacked the purple-eyed black rhino's soul together. At this time, Mo Fengyun also attacked with all his strength. He was thinking of ways to severely injure the purple-eyed black rhino's soul. As long as he could severely injure it, Yi Chunfeng, who had mastered the Demon Emperor's cauldron pattern, would have a chance to subdue it. Wung. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun were battling the purple-eyed black rhino's soul, the slowly rotating Demon Emperor's cauldron let out a deafening roar. The terrifying sound waves blasted into Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun's ears. With the God-Eater Brain's defense, Yi Chunfeng resisted the roar attack of the Demon Emperor's cauldron. However, Mo Fengyun couldn't withstand it. His soul was riddled with holes. Large amounts of blood spurted out from his 7 orifices, and he fell unconscious. Universe Realm, withdraw. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Universe Realm to withdraw Mo Fengyun and fought the purple-eyed black rhino's soul alone. While he was attacking with all his strength, Yi Chunfeng constantly forced out drops of essence blood to attack the purple-eyed black rhino's soul, trying to make it recognize him as its master. However, the purple-eyed black rhino's soul was too terrifying. Before the drops of essence blood that Yi Chunfeng forced out could even get close to the purple-eyed black rhino's soul, they were scattered by the soul power released by the purple-eyed black rhino's soul. They couldn't even touch its soul body. How could he subdue the purple-eyed black rhino's soul and get the cauldron? Yi Chunfeng defended while thinking of a way. The purple-eyed black rhino's soul was too ferocious. While Yi Chunfeng was defending, his injuries were also worsening. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, Chaos Divine Wood. Faintly unable to resist the purple-eyed black rhino's soul, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 2 treasures in his possession. He wanted to use these 2 treasures to fight with all his strength. Boom! The rapidly spinning 9 Dragon Jade Annulus collided fiercely with the purple-eyed black rhino's soul. In just 2 breaths of time, the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus was sent flying. After sending the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus flying, the purple-eyed black rhino's soul's power didn't diminish as it fiercely collided with the Chaos Divine Wood. In the next moment, a scene that shocked everyone appeared. A drop of golden blood emerged from the Chaos Divine Wood, reflecting an endless golden light. It hit the purple-eyed black rhino's soul's head and shattered its soul body. The powerful bloodline power penetrated the purple-eyed black rhino's soul. In just 3 breaths of time, the terrifying purple-eyed black rhino's soul, which was suspected to be refined by a Yao emperor, was refined by the golden blood. It obediently stopped in mid-air and quieted down. Seeing the golden blood easily control the purple-eyed black rhino's soul, Yi Chunfeng was stunned. He didn't think that the drop of golden blood would be so terrifying. It easily refined the purple-eyed black rhino's soul. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1048. What is the origin of this golden blood? It could easily refine the purple-eyed dark rhino's soul. After a brief moment of shock, Yi Chunfeng recovered and immediately squeezed out 2 drops of blood essence, fusing them into the defenseless furnace and the purple-eyed dark rhino's soul. He then controlled the God-Eater brain to evolve a large number of tool patterns into the furnace. This time, the purple-eyed profound rhino's soul and the medicinal cauldron did not resist Yi Chunfeng's blood essence. Very quickly, the purple-eyed profound rhino's soul and the medicinal cauldron established a bloodline connection with Yi Chunfeng and were subdued by him. Subdued. Yi Chunfeng really subdued the purple-eyed dark rhino's soul and the furnace. Witnessing the scene of the golden blood restraining the purple-eyed dark rhino's soul and helping Yi Chunfeng subdue the demon emperor's furnace, Marquis Qian Ming and the rest were dumbfounded and looked like they had seen a ghost. Could this golden blood be obtained from the spatial whirlpool? Marquis Qian Ming doubted in his heart and regretted letting him explore the spatial whirlpool first, giving him a great opportunity for no reason. Subdue! Dripping his blood to claim ownership, Yi Chunfeng fused the purple-eyed dark rhino's soul into the demon emperor's furnace and absorbed it into his body to refine. The moment the demon emperor's furnace entered Yi Chunfeng's body, it caused a huge change in the space of the ice palace. The ancient ice vast array suddenly exploded and a large number of ice light talismans were destroyed, creating a black torrent that was hundreds of feet high that blasted the entire ice palace. Spatial black hole. Seeing the ice palace collapsing and the space being destroyed, Yi Chunfeng and the rest, who were at the center of the explosion, saw a spatial whirlpool appear in the ice palace. They all raised their speed to the peak and flew towards the spatial black hole while enduring the churning destructive power. Although they did not know what was in the spatial black hole, the explosion of the ancient ice vast array produced a terrifying power that caused large areas of space to collapse. If they continued to stay here, they would only die. Yi Chunfeng was the closest to the spatial black hole, so he was the first to enter it. And the instant he entered the spatial black hole, he fused the purple beginning's sacred thunder, dual polarity ancient skywater, and death blaze together, unleashing the extremely powerful wrath of divine punishment. It bombarded the Marquis of Qianming and the others who were flying over, wanting to shatter the fragile space and keep them here. True Qilin seal. Looking at the wrath of divine punishment that was like the wrath of a god that could destroy the world, the Marquis of Qianming's hands moved quickly, forming a complicated hand seal. He merged the Tao will in his body together, transforming it into an invincible Qilin. It trampled on the space and blasted towards the wrath of divine punishment. Rumble! A thunderous sound exploded in the chaotic void. The terrifying sound was like the roar of a deity, shaking people's minds. Energy that was like a volcanic eruption gushed out crazily, attacking the Marquis of Qianming and the others, slowing down their speed and damaging their bodies. Ao ao ao. Seeing the fragile space collapsing, the two level 9 heavenly beasts let out a shocking roar. The terrifying sound waves were like two wild dragons, tearing apart the distorted and blurry space, neutralizing the power of the wrath of divine punishment. Yin-Yang chessboard stabilized the void. Old Zay's entire body fused with the Yin-Yang chessboard. A large number of Yin-Yang chess pieces flew into the void, forming a Yin-Yang Dao diagram, forcibly stabilizing the shattered void. In the next moment, the Marquis of Qianming and the others seized the opportunity when old Zay was stabilizing the void and entered the spatial black hole, disappearing from the ice palace that was about to collapse. What is this place? Yi Chunfeng, who was moving at an extremely fast speed, endured the terrifying power of space. When he was the first to exit the spatial black hole, he was immediately stunned by the scene before him. He realized that there was a red crack that extended for an unknown distance, as though it came from hell. A large amount of black flames, accompanied by a black energy flow that was hundreds of feet tall, emerged from the crack and rushed into the sky. It formed a large black cloud of fire, burning the entire space until it was constantly distorted. Although the hellish crack was very far away, Yi Chunfeng could still clearly feel a boundless and vigorous power seeping out from the crack, making him instinctively feel suffocated. He had no doubt that if he accidentally fell into the spatial black hole, he would undoubtedly be annihilated by the power that was filled with the red crack. Just as Yi Chunfeng was shocked by the crack in front of him and didn't dare to move forward, the Marquis of Qianming, old Zay, and the others all emerged from the spatial black hole. Yi Chunfeng, hand over your life. The Marquis of Qianming roared and suddenly attacked Yi Chunfeng, who was not far away. A huge demon snake descended from the sky, bringing with it the power to destroy everything, suppressing Yi Chunfeng. Poor! Yi Chunfeng gently took a step forward, and a large amount of sword diagrams appeared under his feet. With a single step, he appeared 10 meters away, dodging the fatal blow of the demon snake seal. Yi Chunfeng, let's see where you can run to today. Yu Ying, who had survived the calamity, couldn't forget the humiliation that Yi Chunfeng had brought her. When she thought of how her body was exposed in front of everyone, she had the urge to kill Yi Chunfeng 100 times. She gritted her teeth and said, "Before you make a move, you'd better look in front of you." Yi Chunfeng looked at the murderous Marquis of Qianming, Yu Ying, and the others and said coldly. After Yi Chunfeng's reminder, the furious Marquis of Qianming and the others finally noticed the red crack in the distance that was covered by a large amount of black fog. Their expressions changed slightly. "Marquis, do you know what that crack is?" Looking at the red crack in the distance, the fearless golden lion smelled a strong aura of death. He swallowed his saliva and asked timidly, "I don't know, but the origin of the abyss of hell is very likely related to that red crack." The Marquis of Qianming shook his head and said in a solemn tone, deliberately hiding the relationship between the abyss of hell and the demon emperor. Just as the Marquis of Qianming and the others were shocked by the hellish crack, the highly deductive God-Eater brain sensed tens of thousands of array patterns in this space. These array patterns were connected to each other, and seemed to be condensing into a large array that enveloped the entire space. While deducing the array patterns hidden in the space, Yi Chunfeng took another step forward. With this step, Yi Chunfeng moved dozens of meters away from the Marquis of Qianming and the others. "Where do you think you're going?" The Marquis of Qianming and the others, who had regained their senses, saw that Yi Chunfeng wanted to escape. They roared furiously and chased after him, wanting to kill him first and seize everything on him before thinking of a way to leave this space. "Marquis, watch out!" When the Marquis of Qianming and the others flew towards Yi Chunfeng, Master Lu Yun's expression suddenly changed and he immediately reminded them. However, the Marquis of Qianming was too fast. Just as Master Lu Yun's words fell, he flew dozens of meters away. Just as he approached Yi Chunfeng, the space in front of him trembled violently, stirring up a black energy that was hundreds of meters tall and fiercely bombarded his body. Life-saving talisman. Seeing that the Marquis of Qianming was hit by this extremely powerful black energy, he quickly crushed a life-saving talisman, forming a powerful yellow defensive light to block the attack of the black energy. This life-saving talisman of the Marquis of Qianming was extremely precious and could block an attack from a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert. However, after being hit by this black energy that suddenly appeared, the life-saving talisman shattered in just 2 breaths. However, the Marquis of Qianming still used these 2 breaths to dodge the black energy, narrowly dodging into the distance. "Marquis, there is a problem with this space. Don't move casually." Master Lu Yun looked at the pale-faced and fearful Marquis of Qianming and loudly reminded him. "Ah!" Suddenly, a scream rang out. One of the 2 pillars of the Yu family, Yu Rao, accidentally touched the array pattern and was engulfed by the black dragon-like energy. With a painful wail, her entire body exploded, leaving not even a corpse behind. Seeing the scene of Yu Rao's death, Yu Gu's eyes instantly turned blood-red as he roared in pain. At this moment, his heart was filled with regret. He regretted his ambition. If he had not been blinded by greed and given up on Yi Chunfeng for the sake of the Kirin kingdom, the Yu family would not have ended up in such a state today, and his wife, Yu Rao, would not have lost her life. Just as everyone was stunned by the scene before them and did not dare to act rashly, Yi Chunfeng quickly took another step forward and moved dozens of meters in a strange manner. He moved in the opposite direction of the red crack, wanting to leave this place. Remember the URL. Sanwa Chinese Network. Chapter 1049. Master Lu Yun, can you deduce the truth of this space? Seeing Yi Chunfeng moving quickly and getting further and further away from them, the Marquis of Qianming asked anxiously. If they let Yi Chunfeng escape, then the chances of them killing Yi Chunfeng and seizing the Demon Emperor's furnace in the future would be slim. I will try my best. Master Lu Yun sat cross-legged on the ground. His hands were moving quickly, forming complicated hand seals. They transformed into array patterns that blended into the void and sensed the mystery of the array patterns. As expected, there is a large array hidden in this space. If we accidentally touch the array, we will be attacked. After comprehending for a while, Master Lu Yun discovered the secret of this space. However, the large array hidden in this space was extremely mysterious. Even with his attainments in array formations, he couldn't figure out its mystery in a short period of time. Damn it, how could Yi Chunfeng's attainments in array formations be so deep? Seeing how Yi Chunfeng moved so easily in this space, as if he was taking a stroll in a park, moving at an extremely fast speed, and soon covering a distance of several thousand meters between them, Haiming-Tu and Ing-Jiuying gnashed their teeth in hatred, continuously cursing him in their hearts. Go this way. After Master Lu Yun deduced for more than an hour, he suddenly opened his eyes. The array patterns that he constantly condensed turned into a curved line. Like a huge snake, It guided them to move in the opposite direction of the Hell's Rift, trying to get as far away from it as possible. Everyone followed Master Lu Yun and moved for 30 minutes. The guiding Tao pattern suddenly broke. Master Lu Yun had no choice but to continue sitting cross-legged on the ground, forming array patterns and continuing to deduce. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng had already left the Marquis of Qianming and the others behind with the God-Eater Brain's rapid deduction. However, there wasn't a trace of a smile on his face. There was only deep worry and solemnity. No, why do I feel that I am closer to the Hell's Rift? Yi Chunfeng, who was moving quickly, had a trace of uneasiness in his heart. He inexplicably felt that not only was he not out of danger, but he was getting closer to it. He slowed down slightly and sped up the God-Eater Brain's deduction. Strange. There should be no problem with the God-Eater Brain's deduction, but why do I feel like something is wrong? With an uneasy heart, Yi Chunfeng cautiously moved forward for the time it takes an incense stick to burn. When he passed through a black fog, his eyes suddenly widened, revealing an expression of disbelief. He discovered that not far in front of him, the hell fissure that should have been behind him had appeared. Scorching flames soared into the sky, burning everything, making him feel the rolling heat. My senses weren't wrong. That movement just now brought me closer and closer to this hell fissure. Yi Chunfeng quickly stopped and said with a serious face, "But why? What is the problem?" Looking at the Hell's Rift not far away, Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to move anymore. He quickly sat cross-legged on the ground and endured the scorching aura, controlling the God-Eater Brain to deduce a new path of survival. Strange. No problem. Yi Chunfeng frowned and muttered to himself, "According to the God-Eater Brain's deduction of the 4 paths of survival, we should be able to leave here. But the Hell's Rift is right in front of us. If we continue to move forward, we will only die. What is the problem?" Just as Yi Chunfeng sat on the ground and searched for the key to the problem, Master Lu Yun slowly approached him with the Marquis of Qianming and the others. Yi Chunfeng had finally caught up with him. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting in the black fog, the Marquis of Qianming and the others were overjoyed. If it weren't for the danger everywhere in this space, they would have rushed up and killed Yi Chunfeng together. Demon Snake Serene and Yang Chessboard Sea God statue slowly pulling into the attack range, the Marquis of Qianming, Old Zhe, and the others all took out their Gu Dao treasure and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Whoosh! A virtual light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet, and he moved around in the space full of formation patterns. He moved continuously in a large range and dodged the attacks of the Marquis of Qianming and the others. "I'll use you guys as an experiment." Yi Chunfeng looked coldly at the Marquis of Qianming and the others. He was prepared to capture one of them and test if there was any problem with the path of survival deduced by the God-Eater Brain. "Yi Chunfeng, you won't be able to escape today." After remembering the truth of the formation deduced by Master Lu Yun, the Marquis of Qianming and the others accelerated and approached Yi Chunfeng at an extremely fast speed. Hun Dun, Dragon Bloodlion, King of Massacre, Ling quickly come out and help. As the Marquis of Qianming and the others approached rapidly, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned all the helpers in the universe realm. "Roar, boss, leave those bastards to me. Watch me smash them." The Chaos Divine Beast let out a roar and transformed into its strongest battle form. Carrying the bronze coffin that weighed hundreds of thousands of kilograms, it smashed toward the strongest Marquis of Qianming aggressively. "This space is very dangerous. Everyone, remember the path I deduced. Don't touch the formation hidden in this space. Otherwise, you will be in danger." Yi Chunfeng told the Chaos Divine Beast, King of Massacre, and the others about the path deduced by the God-Eater Brain. Boom! While transmitting the message, the Chaos Divine Beast raised the bronze coffin high up and clashed with the ice dragon sword that the Marquis of Qianming was thrusting over. Dazzling sparks surged out. The ancient bronze coffin was baptized by the power of the world. A large number of mysterious weapon patterns appeared in the ancient coffin. The Chaos Divine Beast used its inherited memories to temper these weapon patterns, greatly increasing the might and hardness of the ancient bronze coffin. With one strike, it completely restrained the supreme-grade Ice Dragon sword. The powerful force shook the Marquis of Qianming's arm until it went numb. Sacred beast, this is a sacred beast. Sensing the strength of the Chaos Divine Beast, the Marquis of Qianming's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to have the ability to subdue a sacred beast that was almost extinct in the Duhan continent. Hai Pings, it's your turn. In the midst of the chaotic battle, Yi Chunfeng's gaze locked onto the second elder of the Eastern Sea Palace, Hai Pings, who was a level 5 combat beast emperor. With a slight flash of his body, he approached Hai Pings using the sword step. Third absolute water restriction, illusory dragon water shadow. As Yi Chunfeng approached, Hai Pings immediately reacted. He deduced the Tao intent that he cultivated to the extreme. With his body as the foundation, he turned into a lifelike water dragon. He opened his blood-red mouth and bit towards Yi Chunfeng. Horizontal line sword slash Yi Chunfeng's body flashed, and the Empyrean celestial sword appeared in his hand. His entire body fused with the Empyrean celestial sword and disappeared in mid-air in a flash. He fused with numerous great Tao intents and slashed towards the murderous water dragon. Chi. The illusory dragon water shadow was pierced through by Yi Chunfeng's sword. The Emperor Sky sword pierced through Hai Ping's body like a hot knife through butter. If it wasn't for Yi Chunfeng's intention of sparing his life, this sword strike would have killed him instantly and sent him to hell. Oceanic living creatures diagram, extinguish. The moment Yi Chunfeng severely injured Hai Pings, Sakuraji suddenly appeared behind him. Her eyes flashed with chilling killing intent as she controlled the oceanic living creatures diagram to launch a fatal attack on Yi Chunfeng. Under the attack of the oceanic living creatures diagram, all kinds of marine creatures swarmed out and instantly engulfed Yi Chunfeng, attacking his body crazily. Sakuraji, you are too weak. Although the oceanic living creatures diagram was powerful, it couldn't break through Yi Chunfeng's body defense. The Emperor Sky sword slashed across the void and annihilated a large number of marine creatures. Then, it slashed towards Sakuraji, whose face had turned pale. When Sakuraji was dodging, Yi Chunfeng carried Hai Pings, whose chest had been pierced and had almost lost his ability to fight, and appeared in front of her. He activated the power of the Pearl of the Dead and threw a punch at her. This punch severed the vitality of her arms and severely injured her. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng carried the severely injured Sakuraji and Hai Pings and suddenly left the battlefield. He approached the Hell's Rift at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to use Sakuraji and Hai Ping's lives to test if the path that the God-Eater brain had deduced was correct. Mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blogs, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1050. Yi Chunfeng, you will die a horrible death. I will not let you go even if I become a ghost. Watermark advertisement test. Sakura Jiuying screamed in despair as she felt that she was getting closer and closer to the gates of hell with no more life force left in her arms. Sakuraji, I am sending you to reunite with your two sons. Shouldn't you be thanking me? Yi Chunfeng said coldly, not caring about Sakuraji's curse. After that, his arms burst out with 80 million pounds of strength. First, he lifted Hai Pings, who was covered in blood and had no strength to struggle, and threw him out according to the route deduced by the God-Eater brain. Ah! Hai Pings screamed in despair as he flew toward the terrible crack of hell at an extremely fast speed. He directly fell into the soaring flames and was instantly burned to ashes. Witnessing the scene of Hai Ping's death, Sakuragi was really scared. Her plump body kept trembling, and her curses turned into pleas. "No, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. As long as you spare my life, I am willing to do anything for you and agree to any of your requests. You are not worthy." Although Sakuragi was very beautiful and had a mature charm, Yi Chunfeng never showed mercy to his enemies. He continued to burst out with amazing strength. In Sakuragi's terrified screams, he threw her toward the second path of life deduced by the God-Eater brain. Hemingway Map, who was fighting fiercely with the King of Killers, saw Sakuragi flying toward the crack of hell at an extremely fast speed. The veins on his forehead bulged, and he let out a sorrowful and painful howl. However, he was too far away from Sakuragi and could not stop her. He could only watch as Sakuragi fell into the crack of hell and was melted by the hot black flames. "Yi Chunfeng, I will not rest until you die." His 2 sons and wife had all died in Yi Chunfeng's hands. This made Hemingway Map completely lose control of his emotions. He stared with blood-red eyes, shook off the King of Killers like a madman, and rushed toward Yi Chunfeng. Boom! Suddenly, the Hemingway Map, who was blinded by anger, activated the formation patterns. Immediately, a large amount of black energy soared into the sky and ruthlessly bombarded his body. It tore through his defenses and caused his body to explode. He died on the spot. Following the death of Hemingway Map, all the East Sea Palace experts who had entered the abyss of hell had been wiped out. This result made the Yu family and 9 Phantom Mountain extremely terrified. The 2 paths deduced by the God-Eater brain were both dead ends. The deaths of Hai Ping's and Sakuragi caused Yi Chunfeng's brows to furrow even tighter. He didn't expect that the God-Eater brain's heaven-defying deduction ability would actually be confused by the power of the abyss of hell and deduce 2 paths of death. Ao, just as Yi Chunfeng was about to continue capturing people to explore the path, the Golden Dragon, Blood Lion, and Pegasus that were fighting Old Zay were heavily injured. They fell heavily to the ground and were about to touch the array. Universe Realm, withdraw. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Universe Realm to release a powerful teleportation force. He teleported the 2 heavenly beasts into the Universe Realm and avoided a calamity. Spatial treasure, I didn't expect you to have so many treasures on you. Old Zay looked at the 2 heavenly beasts that disappeared into thin air, and his face turned gloomy. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to have a spatial treasure that he didn't have. However, Yi Chunfeng didn't care about the terrifying Old Zay. Instead, he cast his gaze towards Master Lu Yun, who was sitting cross-legged and deducing the entire formation. As long as he could kill Master Lu Yun, the Marquis of Qianming and the others wouldn't be a threat. He didn't even need to make a move. Just the formation hidden in the space would be enough to kill them. Sword Step. Yi Chunfeng took a step forward, and a mysterious sword diagram appeared under his feet. His entire body moved and flew towards Master Lu Yun at an extremely fast speed. "If you want to touch Lu Yun, you'll have to go through me first." Old Zay understood Yi Chunfeng's thoughts. His body flashed and blocked in front of Yi Chunfeng, not giving him a chance to attack Master Lu Yun. "Alright, then let me experience the strength of a Nirvana Realm expert from the Kirin Kingdom again." Looking at Old Zay who was blocking him, Yi Chunfeng didn't retreat. He instantly ignited 3 of his bloodlines and raised his strength to the limit. He then punched towards Old Zay's chest. With a punch, a large number of explosions appeared in the chaotic space. It was as if the space couldn't withstand Yi Chunfeng's punch and was about to collapse. Sky-rending hand. Old Zay's right hand swiped across the void, and a large amount of Tao intent gushed out. It turned into a huge hand that could grab the void and went forward. Ka Chunfeng's punch was like a hot knife through butter as it collided with the sky-shattering hand. Close to 200 million pounds of strength continuously shattered the sky-shattering hand. The violent energy surged out in all directions like a tide, shaking the space. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's punch actually shatter the sky-shattering hand, old Zai raised his eyebrows and revealed a trace of surprise. He immediately slapped out with his palm. It was like a boundless ocean as it fiercely slapped onto Yi Chunfeng's fist. What kind of power is this? When old Zai's palm came into contact with Yi Chunfeng's fist, the power of the undead spirit pearl entered his palm. It cut off the vitality in his palm and withered his right hand. In the blink of an eye, his right hand that was rich in vitality became shriveled. The vitality in his palm were completely cut off by the undead spirit pearl, and it constantly withered. Gu Jianga, heart of the sword bright moon. Just as old Zai's heart was in turmoil as he was shocked by Yi Chunfeng's attack, Yi Chunfeng swept across the sky. The sword Dao diagram, life and death Dao diagram, and 5 elements Dao diagram appeared on his body. They poured out boundless Dao intent and fused into the Emperor Heaven sword. They stimulated the might of the artifact's spirit and executed the strongest sword move that he currently grasped. A boundless sword slashed across the space, bringing along the sound of the great Dao that was like a huge bell as it slashed towards old Zai, whose right hand had withered. Buzz, buzz, the terrifying sound of the great Dao directly penetrated old Zai's eardrums, causing his soul to tremble. His reaction speed also showed a trace of delay. When he recovered from his shock, the boundless sword that was branded with the markings of the grand Tao of reproduction that was like a mountain slashed down like a bright moon that hung high above in the sky, and it emanated boundless Tao insight pressure as it fiercely slashed onto his body, breaking open his defenses, and slashing him flying with a single strike. A large amount of blood spurted out from his body. What? Old Zai was injured? The Marquis of Qianming, who was in an intense battle with the Chaos Divine Beast, saw the scene of old Zai being sent flying by Yi Chunfeng's sword. His expression changed slightly as he was distracted. Roar, roar. Chaotic 5 elements light. Seizing the moment when the Marquis of Qianming was distracted, the Chaos Divine Beast roared. A large amount of chaotic 5 elements light shot out from his mouth and ruthlessly attacked the Marquis of Qianming, forcing him to defend with all his might. Relying on his absolute strength, the Marquis of Qianming might have blocked the chaotic 5 elements light, but his body showed signs of losing control. At this moment, the Chaos Divine Beast raised the ancient bronze coffin and ruthlessly smashed it down. It didn't give the Marquis of Qianming any chance to breathe and attacked him with all its might, suppressing his attacks with all its might. Demonic beast saint's will, descend upon my body and help me kill my enemy. Gu Jianga's power was too great. It directly injured old Zai's meridians and organs. Helpless, old Zai used his biggest trump card and summoned the demonic beast saint's will from the heaven domain and fused it into his body. What kind of power was this? Feeling the power of will surging in old Zai's body, Yi Chunfeng smelled a strong sense of danger. With the help of the powerful demonic beast saint's will, old Zai's strength continued to rise. He surpassed the limits of his realm and temporarily possessed the strength of a 2-star demonic beast saint. He was even scarier than the average Nirvana old monster. Even his withered right hand, which had lost its vitality, regained its vitality under the fusion of the demonic beast saint's will. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1051. As expected of a Nirvana realm expert from a 9th grade divine kingdom, Yi Chunfeng revealed a serious expression when he sensed Old Man Zai's sudden burst of strength. Although he had severely injured Old Man Zai, he had taken advantage of Old Man Zai's carelessness to catch him off guard and prevent him from unleashing his true Nirvana realm strength. But now, Old Man Zai had merged with the demonic overlord's will and possessed the strength of a 2-star demonic overlord. He was comparable to a terrifying existence like the Qianling of Gojoseon. Yi Chunfeng was no match for him. However, Yi Chunfeng's goal wasn't to kill Old Man Zai, but to kill Master Lu Yun, who was constantly deducing the array runes. As long as he could kill Lu Yun, who had profound attainments in array formations, even if the Marquis of Qianming and Old Man Zai had heaven-defying abilities, they wouldn't be able to leave this place. Yin-Yang chessboard, stabilizing heaven and earth with his strength skyrocketing, Old Man Zai immediately unleashed the Yin-Yang chessboard. He controlled the Yin-Yang chess pieces to fly into the air and form a Yin-Yang Dao diagram. It forcefully stabilized the void and formed a terrifying pressure that slowed down Yi Chunfeng's movement speed. Gu Fanxing, Vermilion Bird Cauldron, Ancient Beast Head Seal. After being restrained by the Yin-Yang Dao diagram, Yi Chunfeng immediately summoned the 3 Gu Dao treasures. He multitasked and controlled the 3 Gu Dao treasures to attack the Yin-Yang chessboard, shattering the Yin-Yang Dao diagram. With Yi Chunfeng's current strength, he couldn't unleash the full power of the 3 Gu Dao treasures. However, when the 3 Gu Dao treasures attacked at the same time, the explosive power still tore apart the Yin-Yang Dao diagram and restricted the power of the Yin-Yang chessboard. 9 purple lightning strikes. While Yi Chunfeng controlled the 3 Gu Dao treasures to attack, a Thunder Dao diagram emerged from Old Man Zai's body. A large amount of purple lightning shot out from the Thunder Dao diagram, annihilating everything as it attacked Yi Chunfeng. Sword Dao diagram, Life and Death Dao diagram, and 5 Elements Dao diagram evolved to the extreme. Streaks of purple thunder, 9 strikes that were as thick as water buckets and as powerful as the holy lightning struck towards Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng pushed the 3 Dao diagrams to their limits, constantly transforming into different attacking forms. They were like the roaring sea, towering mountains, soaring dragons, and leaping tigers as they defended against the 9 strikes of purple thunder. Yi Chunfeng's comprehension of Dao insights far surpassed Elder Zai, but there was an insurmountable gap between his strength and Elder Zai's. Soon, the ultimate attack of the 3 Dao diagrams was forcefully broken by Old Zai. Yi Chunfeng, you're truly astonishing. With your strength, you're actually able to cultivate Dao insights to such an extent and condense 3 great Dao diagrams. Elder Zai looked at the 3 Dao diagrams floating behind Yi Chunfeng and said in a chilling voice, "Unfortunately, the 3 Dao diagrams cannot save you. Today you are destined to die here." As he spoke, Elder Zai suddenly sped up and transformed into an afterimage in the void. He appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng as if he had teleported. A ball of crystal clear heavenly water emerged from his body and froze towards Yi Chunfeng, trying to freeze him. As the crystal clear heavenly water approached, Yi Chunfeng immediately spat out the death flame heavenly fire to defend against the crystal clear heavenly water. As the heavenly fire and heavenly water clashed fiercely, the purple beginning holy thunder shot out from his fingertip. Like a lightning that pierced through the heavens, it pierced through the crystal clear heavenly water and blasted towards Elder Zai. Whoosh! Elder Zai waved his left hand and the yin-yang chess piece that he had grasped earlier flew out and blocked the attack of the purple beginning holy thunder. In the next moment, Elder Zai performed his inherited superpower and activated his powerful bloodline power. He transformed into the ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms. Holding 2 mid-grade Dao technique level Dao soldiers, he sealed the space and attacked Yi Chunfeng. Gu Jianga, sword heart connected to the Moon Elder Zai's murderous aura surged. Yi Chunfeng used Gu Jianga again and slashed out a boundless sword that was mixed with the sound of Dao. However, this time, Elder Zai was on guard. The sound of Dao contained in Gu Jianga was forcibly dissolved by him. He didn't fall into a passive state like before. Vertigo art when Elder Zai waved his 6 arms and shattered the incoming sword heart connected to the moon. The soul power in Yi Chunfeng's mind completely exploded. It formed a terrifying vertigo power and blasted into his soul sea. The powerful vertigo power caused a trace of dizziness in Elder Zai's mind. His reaction speed slowed down again. Dragon heart ignition, true dragon transformation. Seizing the fleeting opportunity, Yi Chunfeng transformed into a lifelike blood dragon. The dragon's might that erupted from his body was like a bottomless abyss, as vast and boundless as an ancient mountain. The terrifying might made people want to bow down and worship him. Boom! The blood dragon forcefully broke through Elder Zay's defense and flew towards Master Lu Yun, who was trying his best to deduce the formation pattern. Not good. When the danger appeared, Master Lu Yun's expression changed. He quickly stopped his deduction and dodged with all his might. However, Yi Chunfeng's dragon transformation was too terrifying. Its speed was even faster than lightning. In the blink of an eye, the true dragon bombarded the space beside Master Lu Yun, who was dodging continuously. The explosive power fiercely attacked Master Lu Yun's body and sent him flying. True Qilin Seal Elder Zay didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to break through his defense. His expression changed greatly. He immediately unleashed the Qilin Seal towards Yi Chunfeng, wanting to stop him from killing Master Lu Yun. Cloud stepping boots, amplitude. At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng revealed another trump card. He activated the cloud stepping boots and instantly increased his speed. He dodged the true Qilin Seal that was locked onto him and appeared beside the heavily injured Master Lu Yun, continuing to attack him. Master Lu Yun's attainments and formations were very deep, but his strength was not outstanding. After cultivating for thousands of years, he had just stepped into the 6th grade combat beast emperor realm. He couldn't block Yi Chunfeng's tide-like attacks at all. In an instant, he was heavily injured by Yi Chunfeng. His entire body was badly mutilated, and he almost lost his ability to fight. He was captured by Yi Chunfeng. Release Lu Yun. Seeing Master Lu Yun being held hostage by Yi Chunfeng, Elder Zay, Marquis Qianming, and the others' expressions changed greatly. If something happened to Master Lu Yun, with their attainments and formations, they definitely wouldn't be able to walk out of this strange and terrifying space. Sooner or later, they would be swallowed by the slowly moving hell's mouth that was approaching them. Do you think I will release him? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a victor's smile. Yi Chunfeng, if you release Lu Yun, I can make the decision to not bicker with you and join hands with you to walk out of here. Although Elder Zay was gritting his teeth, he had to suppress the anger in his heart and said softly, "Not interested," Yi Chunfeng coldly replied. He controlled the universe mirror to take away Hemingway map and the others' belongings. He pressed his right hand on Master Lu Yun's head and used the power of the God-Eater brain to quickly search Master Lu Yun's soul and obtain a portion of his soul memories. Hearing Master Lu Yun's painful wails, Elder Zay's expression changed. He charged at Yi Chunfeng with his 6 Dao treasures, wanting to forcefully snatch Master Lu Yun away. 9 Dragon Jade Annulus kill. Yi Chunfeng had already calculated everything. Before Elder Zay charged over, he poured almost all of his soul energy into the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. He condensed it into a deadly dragon and charged at Elder Zay, whose expression changed slightly. What kind of treasure is this? Elder Zay's expression changed slightly when he felt how terrifying the world-destroying dragon was. He instinctively dodged. The moment he dodged, Yi Chunfeng ignored the fact that his body was weak. He grabbed the heavily injured Elder Zay and moved toward the Hell's Crack at an extremely fast speed. Release Master Lu Yun, or I will definitely turn you into ashes, the Marquis of Qianming roared. If Master Lu Yun died, what awaited them would most likely be death. Hearing the Marquis of Qianming's shout, Yi Chunfeng was unmoved. He erupted with nearly 100 million kilograms of strength and forcefully threw Master Lu Yun out. He flew toward the Hell's Crack according to the God-Eater Brain's 3rd path of survival. Master Lu Yun's fate was the same as Sakuraji's. He was directly submerged in the black flames spewing out of the Hell's Crack. He was instantly melted by the scorching flames and died. Mobile reading site, book address, For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1052. Come back. After killing Master Lu Yun, Yi Chunfeng did not continue fighting. He immediately controlled the universe mirror and teleported the injured chaotic divine beasts and spiritual fish back. Watermark advertisement test find them for me. Master Lu Yun's death directly cut off the Marquis of Qianming and the others' path of survival. If they wanted to live, they had to capture Yi Chunfeng, who had a deep understanding of formations. Just as the Marquis of Qianming and the others were searching the universe mirror, Yi Chunfeng, who was hiding in the universe mirror, began to fuse with Master Lu Yun's soul memories. He wanted to use the formation patterns that Master Lu Yun had deduced to find a way out of this space. What went wrong? Yi Chunfeng pondered bitterly. With the help of Master Lu Yun's soul memories, he searched for the crux of the problem. Yes, this was. When Yi Chunfeng fused with all of Master Lu Yun's soul memories, he raised his eyebrows. With the help of Master Lu Yun's deduction of this space, he had a new inspiration. If this hell crack before him was real and contained great danger, then the hell crack he saw at the beginning might be an opportunity that hid the true path of survival. Thinking of the crux of the problem, Yi Chunfeng immediately drank a bottle of heaven-returning water to quickly recover his consumed soul power. He was prepared to go back and verify if his guess was correct. When Yi Chunfeng was hiding in the universe mirror to recover, the Marquis of Qianming and the others discovered the hidden space of the universe mirror. They immediately gathered everyone's strength and attacked with all their might, wanting to break through the universe mirror's defense. However, even Nirvana's Qianling of Gojoseon and the others were unable to break through the universe mirror's defense, let alone the Marquis of Qianming and the others. Under everyone's indiscriminate attacks, the universe mirror's defense was not affected at all. This made the Marquis of Qianming and the others gnash their teeth in hatred, but there was nothing they could do. Around 2 hours later, the demon saint's will in Elder Zay's body disappeared. His strength fell back to Nirvana's. On the other hand, exposing his final trump card, yet being unable to kill Yi Chunfeng, was something that Elder Zay had never expected, and Yi Chunfeng's strength and comprehension of Tao insights had even shocked him. He had a feeling that if he couldn't kill Yi Chunfeng this time, Yi Chunfeng would become the nightmare of the Kirin kingdom in the future. Marquis, what shall we do? Yu Yuen asked in a daze. The complete annihilation of the East Sea Palace had shocked him greatly and filled him with fear. He was afraid that they would follow in the footsteps of Hemingway Map and the others. Moreover, their only reliance, Master Lu Yun, was also dead. If they could not capture Yi Chunfeng, they would be swallowed by the slowly moving Hell's Rift sooner or later and lose their lives here. What are you afraid of? As long as we seal this space and trap Yi Chunfeng here, he won't be afraid of not coming out. The Marquis of Qianming said with a gloomy face. As long as he dares to come out, we still have a chance to capture him. Everyone, listen to my orders. Set up the space lock array and seal this place. I will make it impossible for them to escape. In order to capture Yi Chunfeng, the Marquis of Qianming did not hold back. He quickly took out an extremely powerful array diagram and suspended it in mid-air. He then taught everyone how to set up the array. Soon, the Marquis of Qianming, Elder Zay, and the others sat cross-legged at the base of the space lock array. They communicated with the power of the array diagram and sealed the entire void. The space lock array was a good move by the Marquis of Qianming. Through the Qiankuan mirror, Yi Chunfeng felt the power of the space lock array and could not help but be impressed by the foundation of a Tier 9 divine kingdom. However, he did not panic. He sat cross-legged in the Qiankuan mirror and deduced the reality of the space lock array through the Qiankuan mirror. As long as he could find the opportunity to break the array, with the strength of a divine beast of chaos, he had a chance to tear the space lock array apart. Soon, 3 days had passed. In these 3 days, with the help of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chenfeng found the relatively weak space lock node of the space lock array. However, he was not in a hurry to break the array. Instead, he tried to refine the demon god's furnace. While he was refining the demon god's furnace, the slow-moving hell's crack slowly approached. It brought a fatal threat to the Marquis of Qianming and the others, making them uneasy and worried. Damn it, is Yi Chenfeng going to perish together with us? Looking at the hell's crack that was getting closer, the Marquis of Qianming and the others could clearly feel the scorching temperature of the flames and the destructive power it contained. If not for the fact that Yi Chenfeng was the key to leaving this place, they would have taken the risk to leave this place. Just as the Marquis of Qianming was panicking and hesitating whether to persist, a figure appeared in the space lock array. Attack! The Marquis of Qianming and the others came back to their senses and executed their own mystique. They controlled their Dao treasures to attack, wanting to severely injure the figure in one fell swoop. Boom! 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 A deafening explosion sounded, and the terrifying power set off monstrous waves in the space lock array. If not for the space lock array restricting the void, this attack was enough to cause the space to collapse. Facing the combined attack of everyone, this figure was sent flying, but his body was unscathed. Roar! Roar! Bastards, your Grandpa Chaos is here. After using the sword puppet to attract everyone's attacks, the Chaos Divine Beast left the universe realm and roared arrogantly. He transformed into his strongest combat form and exploded with more than 200 million kilograms of power. He raised the ancient bronze coffin high up and bombarded the space lock array that the God-Eater brain had deduced. Crack! The space lock array was hit by the ancient bronze coffin with full force, and cracks immediately appeared. Yu Gu and Yu Chan, who were closest to this array, suffered a powerful backlash. Their bodies trembled violently, and a large amount of blood spurted out from their mouth. Not good. Seeing that the space lock array that he had set up was actually shattered by the Chaos Divine Beast's attack, the Marquis of Qianming's expression changed drastically. He immediately controlled the array diagram to rotate, quickly repairing the cracks and moving the array base. Chaos, attack 3 meters behind you. Although the Marquis of Qianming controlled the array diagram and moved the space lock array, after 3 days of studying, the God-Eater brain had already understood the space lock array. Yi Chenfeng easily captured the second space lock array and sent a voice transmission to the Chaos Divine Beast. Roar! The Chaos Divine Beast roared furiously, and a large amount of light of chaos surged into the ancient bronze coffin. It forcefully bombarded the coffin, and like a mountain, it bombarded the second array node. Crack! Under the full force of the Chaos Divine Beast's attack, the second spatial node shattered once again, and the powerful recoil surged into the 2 heavenly beasts, causing their powerful bodies to split open, and blood to gush out from their wounds, staining them completely red. How could this be? Could it be that it had seen through all the weaknesses of the space lock array? The Chaos Divine Beast had attacked the space lock array twice in a row. This caused a huge wave in the Marquis of Qianming's heart, and an ominous premonition arose in his heart. Just as he continued to adjust the array diagram to forcefully change the location of the space lock array, the Chaos Divine Beast blasted out a third attack. The terrifying power completely activated the Dao patterns in the ancient bronze coffin, and with the light of power, it bombarded the space lock array's third array node with great momentum, blasting through the array with one attack. In the next moment, Yi Chenfeng kept the Chaos Divine Beast and the sword puppet into the Qiankuan realm. He stepped on the cloud treading boots and flew out. He drew a swift afterimage in the chaotic void array and dodged the attacks of the Marquis of Qianming and the others. He flew out of the space lock array, causing the Marquis of Qianming's plan to trap him to fail. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1053. Chase him. Don't let him escape. The Marquis of Qianming did not care about the damage that the backlash had done to his body. He quickly retracted the spatial locking array diagram that was full of cracks. Then, he used a strange footwork to chase after Yi Chenfeng. Watermark advertisement test. When he was chasing after Yi Chenfeng, he released all of the soul power in his mind and memorized the path that Yi Chenfeng would take. He was afraid that he would make a mistake and activate the array to kill him. Suddenly, Yu Chan, who had just suffered a backlash and was heavily injured, took a wrong step and touched the array. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, and a shocking crack split open under his feet. A terrifying black torrent erupted from the crack, and as he screamed in despair, it engulfed his body. Yu Chan, an ambitious and ruthless person with unparalleled ambition, died tragically just like that. Yu Chan, with Yu Chan dead, only Yu Gu was left in the Yu family. The deaths of Yu Rao and Yu Chan made him realize many things. If they had not been blinded by greed, the Yu family would not have met with such a disaster. In the near future, the Yu family could have borrowed Yi Chenfeng's strength to replace the East Sea Palace and become the #1 holy land in the Eastern continent. They would have been respected by millions. They had personally sent the Yu family to their death. Not only did they accelerate the destruction of the Yu family, but the Kirin Kingdom's experts, who saw them as pawns, also hastened the destruction of the Yu family. Trash from the Kirin Kingdom, you can accompany my Yu family in death. Feeling that it would be difficult for him to leave this place alive, Yu Gu suddenly vented his anger on an expert of the Qilin divine nation who was not far away. His entire body transformed into a huge millstone as he launched a fatal attack at him. This Kirin Kingdom expert did not expect Yu Gu to suddenly attack him. Caught off guard, he was struck by the millstone that Yu Gu had turned into. His body's defense was immediately broken, and he spat out a large amount of blood. He was sent flying and touched the array hidden in the void. Ah! Following a scream, a terrifying black current of energy gushed out from the crack in the ground and melted his body, killing him. Yu Gu, you're crazy. Seeing Yu Gu suddenly attack and kill a Kirin Kingdom expert, Yu Yuan's expression changed. I'm not crazy. I've never been as clear-headed as I am now. Yu Gu roared with a ferocious expression, Yu Yuan, we've been fooled so badly by the Kirin Kingdom. Are you still not clear-headed? Our 3 holy lands will be exterminated because of them. Yu Gu, you're courting death. Not far away, old Zhe roared in anger. He was about to control the yin-yang chessboard to kill Yu Gu to deter Yu Yuan and Yu Gu from acting recklessly. Bloodline ignition. At this time, Yu Gu suddenly ignited the bloodline power in his body. He ignored the yin-yang chessboard's attack and rushed toward Barbarian Bull like a madman. He wanted to drag someone down with him before he died. Ao. Bastard, you're courting death. Seeing Yu Gu's crazy attack, Barbarian Bull immediately smelled a dense aura of danger. He instantly transformed into his strongest battle form and aroused the strongest power in his body to resist Yu Gu's attack. It had a feeling that if it couldn't defend against Yu Gu's attack, it was extremely likely that it would follow in the footsteps of that Qilin divine nation expert just now and touch the spatial array, losing its life here. Barbarian Bull Fist. A huge shadow of a barbarian bull appeared on his body. He punched out with both of his fists. The barbarian bull let out a long roar and a majestic demonic energy rushed toward Yu Gu. The explosive energy was enough to kill an ordinary level 6 combat beast emperor. Sky Demon Physique, Demon King Deicide / Facing the barbarian bull's strongest attack, Yu Gu didn't dodge. He activated all the potential in his body and transformed into the Sky Demon Physique. He detonated both of his arms and unleashed his strongest attack. A large amount of blood chi and demonic chi fused together and turned into two blade lights that seemed to be able to kill God. They slashed down from the sky and ruthlessly slashed at the barbarian bull's shadow. An endless amount of destructive energy exploded, causing the entire space to tremble. Just when Yu Gu was using all of his strength to defend against the barbarian bull's strongest attack, Old Zay's yin-yang chessboard flew over and ruthlessly bombarded his body. It broke through his body's defense and shattered his back, cutting off his life force and sending him flying. Yi Chunfeng, for the sake of Nikhang, please show mercy to my Yu family. Before his death, Yu Gu, who had come to his senses too late, let out a shocking cry and begged. After speaking, Yu Gu, who had lost control of his body, detonated his body and launched a fatal attack at the barbarian bull before his death. The terrifying power of the explosion was like a surging tide, exploding the void. It ruthlessly bombarded the barbarian bull, who couldn't dodge in time, and directly sent it flying. No. When the bloody barbarian bull was sent flying, it came into contact with the void formation. The black torrent was like a huge devouring mouth that swallowed it whole. In an instant, the terrifying level 9 heavenly beast barbarian bull was killed by the black torrent. Not even its bones were left. You family, I swear I'll exterminate your entire family. When old Zay saw Yu Gu explode at the last moment and bring the barbarian bull down with him, he gritted his teeth and swore in his heart. However, Yi Chunfeng, who was extremely fast, was getting further and further away from him. He didn't dare to hesitate and used the Kirin Kingdom's inherited divine ability to chase after the Marquis of Qianming and the rest, afraid that they would leave him behind. You family, Yi Chunfeng didn't expect Yu Gu to realize at the last moment and kill two people at the cost of his life. The hatred in his heart for the Yu family lessened a lot, and he decided to let them go. Yi Chunfeng, don't run anymore. How about we make a deal? At this moment, the Marquis of Qianming, who was chasing relentlessly, suppressed his voice into a line and transmitted it into Yi Chunfeng's ears. All right, give me that top-grade Dao sword, and I'll make a deal with you. Yi Chunfeng didn't slow down and transmitted his voice while flying at an extremely fast speed. Yi Chunfeng, I think you should be very clear about the dangers here, and I know the secret of this space. You can see through the formation patterns hidden in this space, so we can only have the possibility of leaving this place alive if we work together. The Marquis of Qianming suppressed the anger in his heart and said, Haha, Marquis of Qianming, aren't you thinking too highly of yourself? Do you really think that without you, I can't leave this place? Yi Chunfeng wasn't moved. After witnessing the terror of the demon saint's will, he definitely wouldn't make a deal with the Marquis of Qianming and the rest. That would only give the Marquis of Qianming a chance to plot against him. All right. Then I'll see how you can escape from our pursuit. The Marquis of Qianming gritted his teeth and continued to release his soul power to lock onto Yi Chunfeng. He was determined to tangle with him until the end. Slowly, Yi Chunfeng, who was moving around, returned to his original point. From afar, he saw the crack that was spewing out endless black flames that seemed to have come from hell. I hope my deduction is correct. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. Yi Chunfeng slightly slowed down and muttered to himself as he stared at the crack of hell in the distance that gave him a great shock. Demon Snake Imprint. Yi Chunfeng slowed down and was immediately caught up by the Marquis of Qianming. With a roar, the Marquis of Qianming controlled the demon snake imprint to descend and kill Yi Chunfeng with a tremendous force. Although the Marquis of Qianming's attack was very sudden, Yi Chunfeng's senses were extremely sharp. He instantly reacted and used his sword steps to dodge the demon snake imprint's attack. At the next moment, Yi Chunfeng drew out the Emperor's celestial sword and condensed the three great Dao diagrams. He then slashed out the ancient sword song at the Marquis of Qianming. The boundless sword that was filled with the sound of the great Dao flew across the sky and blended with the power of the three great Dao diagrams as it slashed towards the Marquis of Qianming. After being disturbed by the sound of the great Tao, the Marquis of Qianming's reaction was slightly delayed. He was unable to dodge the sword heart connecting to the bright moon and could only use the ice dragon sword to face it head-on. Just as the endless sword aura exploded in front of the Marquis of Qianming, Yi Chunfeng suddenly turned around and flew behind the Marquis of Qianming. He grabbed the number 2 of the 9 underworlds mountain, Yu Wuming, who was following closely behind him. Mobile reading website. This book's address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1054. No! Seeing Yi Chunfeng flying towards him, Yu Wuming's expression changed drastically. He let out a desperate cry as he hastily launched an all-out attack. Watermark advertisement test. Although Yu Wuming was a grade 5 combat beast emperor expert, the strength displayed by Yi Chunfeng was too terrifying. He instinctively felt fear and could only unleash 80% of his full strength. Chi! Like a hot knife through butter, Yi Chunfeng pierced through his attack and appeared in front of him. Before Old Zhe, Jin Shi, and Yu Wuming could attack, Yi Chunfeng punched Yu Wuming's chest, cutting off his life and capturing him. 9 purple lightning strikes. Marquis Qianming and Old Zhe simultaneously formed their lightning Dao diagram, interweaving purple lightning bolts that were as thick as water buckets. They sealed off the void, wanting to trap Yi Chunfeng in place. 9 Dragons Jade Wall. After capturing Yu Wuming, Yi Chunfeng didn't waste any time. He summoned the 9 dragons Jade Annulus and condensed a murderous dragon whose might shook the heavens. It soared into the sky with a roar and tore apart the rapidly interweaving purple lightning. It bombarded the Marquis of Qianming, whose expression changed greatly, forcing him to dodge with all his might. The moment Marquis Qianming dodged, Yi Chunfeng ignored his weakened body and stepped on the cloud treading boots, increasing his speed to the peak. His entire body flashed and passed through Marquis Qianming's obstruction. Following the route deduced by the God-Eater brain, he quickly approached the Hell's Crack. Is he trying to commit suicide? Seeing Yi Chunfeng rushing towards the Hell's Crack, Marquis Qianming, Old Zhe, and the others couldn't help but reveal bewildered expressions. They slightly slowed down their pursuit. When he was 3,000 meters away from the Hell's Crack, Yi Chunfeng unleashed a powerful physical strength and threw the screaming Yu Wuming towards the Hell's Crack. Yi Chunfeng, you will die a horrible death. The moment Yu Wuming was engulfed by the black hell's flames, he cursed in despair. How can this be? This Hell's Crack is also real. Witnessing the scene of Yu Wuming being melted by the hellfire, Yi Chunfeng's brows tightly knitted together. If his earlier guess was wrong, then he would be in big trouble. It was very likely that he would be trapped here until he died. Rumble! While Yi Chunfeng was deep in thought, the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe launched their attacks. Seeing the 2 Gu Dao treasures about to land on Yi Chunfeng's body, he quickly hid inside the universe mirror, evading the attacks of the 2 Gu Dao treasures. Damn it! Seeing Yi Chunfeng hide in the universe realm again, the Marquis of Qianming and Old Zhe gnashed their teeth in hatred. However, there was nothing they could do. They could only grit their teeth and swallow their anger. Marquis, what should we do? Looking at the hell fissure in front of him, even Old Zhe, who was always calm in the face of chaos, felt his soul tremble. Wait. The Marquis of Qianming gritted his teeth and said, I don't believe that Yi Chunfeng wants to perish together with us. He will definitely think of a way to leave this place. After speaking, the Marquis of Qianming summoned the space lock array diagram and gathered the remaining experts of the Kirin Kingdom, Yu Wuyuan, the Golden Lion, and the other 2 experts of the Kirin Kingdom. They then set up the space lock array diagram and sealed the space where the universe mirror was, not giving Yi Chunfeng a chance to escape. What exactly is the problem? Yi Qinfeng ignored the space sealed by the space lock array diagram and controlled the power of the God-Eater brain to leak out of the universe mirror and slowly seep into the hell fissure. He quickly deduced and found a way to escape. And something isn't right. There is something wrong with this hell fissure. When the power of the God-Eater brain was 10 meters away from the hell fissure, Yi Qinfeng felt that something was wrong. He had a feeling that the hell fissure in front of him was different from the hell fissure that swallowed Sakuragi and the others. There might be a way to escape hidden here. In order to verify his guess, Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and controlled the power of the God-Eater brain to slowly seep into the hell fissure. Although he might suffer a soul power backlash once the power of the God-Eater brain was dissolved, he couldn't care less at this moment. Fortunately, the God-Eater brain was strong enough that the power it released into the hell fissure wasn't immediately melted by the high temperature. However, Yi Qinfeng felt as if a huge flame had ignited in his mind and was burning his soul sea, causing him intense pain. Relying on his strong and unyielding heart, Yi Qinfeng endured the burning sensation in his mind and controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the secrets of this hell fissure over and over again. This hell fissure is real, but there is a lot of seal power hidden in the fissure. It might be the way to leave this place. Phew! After confirming his guess, Yi Qinfeng let out a long sigh of relief. He endured the burning sensation in his soul sea and continued to control the God-Eater brain to deduce. PFFF. About half a day later, the soul force released by the God-Eater brain was burned away by the hellfire that emerged from the hell's fissure. Yi Qinfeng immediately suffered a soul force backlash and felt as if his head was being pricked by needles. He spat out a mouthful of blood. However, Yi Qinfeng was already prepared. He drank the essence of the soul-nurturing branch that he had refined earlier into his stomach and quickly healed the damage to his soul. He continued to control the God-Eater brain to release soul power into the spatial crack that stretched for an unknown number of miles as he searched for a way out. Damn it, is he really going to die with us? 10 days had passed, and the Marquis of Qianming realized that Yi Qinfeng was still hiding in the universe mirror. The slow-moving hell fissure was getting closer and closer to them. He was no longer as calm as he was a few days ago and felt a huge pressure. As the Marquis of the Kirin Kingdom, he definitely didn't want to die here. Furthermore, as long as he could return to the Kirin Kingdom, just the 3 demon emperor bones and the secrets of the Hell Abyss would be enough for him to receive a generous reward. Coupled with the supreme grade Dao artifact, the Ice Dragon Sword, he was extremely confident that he could survive the apocalyptic divine punishment and break through to Nirvana. Not only was the Marquis of Qianming panicking, but old Zhe and Yu Wuyuan were also anxious. Especially Yu Wuyuan, who hated the Kirin Kingdom to the core and hated the Hemingway map that lured him into the Hell Abyss. Just as everyone was trying hard to suppress the fear in their hearts, Yi Qinfeng suddenly flew out from the universe mirror. Following behind him were the Chaos Divine Beast, the King of Massacre, the golden-haired Iron Ape and other helpers. Break! After Yi Qinfeng and the others appeared, they immediately used their own methods to attack the space lock node. With everyone's combined strength, the nodes of the space lock array were directly penetrated and torn apart. The space lock array diagram that was suspended in midair cracked, and its power was greatly reduced. You are finally willing to come out. The Marquis of Qianming looked fiercely at Yi Qinfeng as he gritted his teeth. He had a feeling that Yi Qinfeng had hidden in the universe mirror for 10 days and had very likely found a way to leave this place. Whether they could leave this place alive or not depended on Yi Qinfeng. Hundun, hold back the Marquis of Qianming. In order to verify whether the God-Eater brain's deduction of the 5 paths of survival that contained the power of the hand seals was correct, Yi Qinfeng decided to use Yu Wuyuan and the others as an experiment. They fought fiercely about 2,000 meters away from the Hell's Rift. Demon Saints will fuse. At the moment of life and death, the Marquis of Qianming did not hold back and used his greatest trump card. He summoned the powerful demon Saint's will and fused it into his body, temporarily possessing the strength of a 2-star Tao Saint. Boom! The ice dragon sword and the ancient bronze coffin collided, bursting out with endless light. The terrifying power swept out in all directions like a landslide, causing the people around the battle circle to retreat. And Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity when everyone retreated. He stepped on the cloud rushing boots and accelerated towards a Kirin Kingdom expert. He launched a fierce attack at him, wanting to capture him and use him as an experiment. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1055. 3 heads, 6 arms. Sensing the danger, the expert from the Kirin Kingdom immediately activated his bloodline power, transforming into his ultimate form of 3 heads and 6 arms, wielding 6 Dao weapons as he charged towards Yi Chunfeng. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Stun technique. Before he attacked with all his strength, Yi Chunfeng's soul power exploded in his mind, forming a terrifying dizziness. It was like a heavy hammer that smashed into his soul sea, causing his soul to tremble and a strong sense of dizziness in his soul sea. In the next instant, Yi Chunfeng ignited his demonic god bloodline, transforming into his powerful demonic god body, and together with Xingluo's doppelganger, he closed in on the expert. As Xingluo's doppelganger forcefully locked onto him, Yi Chunfeng grabbed one of his arms, and with a burst of nearly 200 million gene of strength, he threw him away. So, without Xingluo's doppelganger locking onto him, the expert from the Kirin Kingdom flew out at an extremely fast speed, flying towards the path that the god-devouring brain had deduced, entering the blazing hell's crack. When he was a few meters into the hell fissure, the blazing black hellfire swallowed him up. The scorching flames melted everything on his body and burned him to ashes. This was a dead end. Looking at the expert from the Kirin Kingdom who had been reduced to ashes, Yi Chunfeng turned his attention to the others. Yi Chunfeng, my 9 underworlds mountain has no intention of becoming enemies with you. I am willing to withdraw from the conflict between the two of you. Please show mercy and spare my life. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's gaze lock onto him, Yu Wuyuan felt as if he was being stared at by the Grim Reaper, and he quickly begged for mercy. Hearing Yu Wuyuan's pleas, Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment before turning his gaze to the Golden Lion, who had transformed into his battle form and was currently fighting the Golden Ape. So, a sword light flashed beneath Yi Chunfeng's feet, and like an invincible divine sword, he tore through space and appeared in front of the Golden Lion. With a wave of his hand, a sharp sword light slashed down viciously towards the Golden Lion. Hull suddenly attacked by Yi Chunfeng, the Golden Lion roared and brandished a large saber made of black iron to block Yi Chunfeng's sword light. Single line chop. Yi Chunfeng's body was covered with a large number of sword-type Dao patterns. Yi Chunfeng's sword was like a bolt of lightning that tore through the sky as he thrust his sword at Jin Shi's chest. The speed of this sword was too fast, so fast that it exceeded the reaction of ordinary people. Golden Lion roar. The Golden Lion's keen perception smelled the horror of this sword. The demon power in its body was completely stimulated, and its strong body expanded at high speed in an instant. A lion's roar like a landslide and a tsunami came out of its bloody mouth, twisting the void, shaking away the golden-haired iron ape, and bombarding Yi Chunfeng, who was attacking at lightning speed. Sword-soul fusion. In the blink of an eye, the sword-soul fused into the Empyrean sky sword. Yi Chunfeng, who was advancing courageously, was like a boat sailing against the sea. Amidst the lion's roar, he tore apart the Golden Lion's roar and stabbed into the Golden Lion's body, leaving a huge hole in its strong body. Large amounts of blood spurted out. Heavenly Venerate bloodline. After injuring the Golden Lion, Yi Chunfeng immediately ignited his heavenly venerate bloodline and guided the power of heaven in the air into his body, condensing a green seal that seemed to contain the power of heaven and earth. Blue sky seal. Yi Chunfeng roared, and countless heavenly Tao patterns fused into the green seal. When the seal was struck out, heaven and earth shook, and the space changed drastically. It was so terrifying that it made people feel insignificant and helpless when facing this seal. Boom! Jin Shi's black gold broadsword was swung with all his might by the blue sky seal. The blue sky seal's power of heaven exploded and bombarded Jin Shi's strong body with earth-shattering force, causing him to tremble and retreat. 5 Elemental Hand. Seeing that the golden lion, who had lost control of its body, was about to touch the array hidden in the void, the 5 elemental Tao diagram above Yi Chunfeng's head turned into a huge hand and smashed the golden lion's body with a force that broke through the void. The explosive power smashed the golden lion into the ground. Golden Lion. Old Zhe, who had displayed his prowess and defeated the King of Massacre, Jin Qing, Dragon Blood Lion, and the other heavenly beasts, saw that the golden lion was in danger. His face changed, and he transformed into his strongest 3-headed and 6-armed form. He erupted with a shocking power, wanting to break out of the encirclement and save the golden lion. Instant ancient mirror ghost killing array diagram heaven, shaking fist facing old Zhe's sure kill attack. The King of Massacre, Mo Fengyun, and the others did not retreat. They all executed their strongest moves to resist his attack, not giving him a chance to save the golden lion. Boom! Boom! A series of uncontrollable explosions rang out in the void. The destructive energy rippled in the void, instantly engulfing the King of Massacre and the other heavenly beasts, destroying their bodies in a frenzy. Old Zhe's body trembled when he was hit by this terrifying force. Blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth, greatly slowing down the speed of his rescue. Seizing the time that the King of Massacre and the others had to pay the price of being seriously injured, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside the golden lion, who was vomiting blood and was severely injured. He pulled it out of the ground like pulling a carrot, and with a shocking force, he threw it toward the second path of life that the God-Eater brain had deduced. Well, it was fine. When the golden lion, who had lost control of its body, entered the blazing hell crack, it did not burn immediately. This made Yi Chunfeng very happy, and he stared at it. However, when the golden lion was about 400 meters away from the hellfire, its bloody body suddenly burst into flames. In an instant it turned into ashes, and not even its bones were left. This path was wrong again. Although the verification had failed, it was good news for Yi Chunfeng. The golden lion was about 400 meters away from the hell crack before it finally burned and melted. This was enough to prove that his method was correct. The seal in the hell crack blocked the hellfire. As long as he found the path of life, he would definitely be able to pass through the hell crack. All of you, go to hell! Old Zhe, who was filled with killing intent, roared. He waved his 6 Tao soldiers and charged toward the severely injured King of Massacre and the others, wanting to kill them to vent his anger. Come back! At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng sent the severely injured King of Massacre and the others, as well as the 4 heavenly beasts, into the universe realm to avoid old Zhe's fatal attack. Iron Ape, I'll leave that Kirin Kingdom expert to you. I'll deal with that old thing. After a series of battles, the Kirin Kingdom only had the Marquis of Qianming, Old Zhe, Yu Wuyuan, and a level 6 beast emperor expert from the Kirin Kingdom left. Yu Wuyuan, who was scared out of his wits, retreated from the battlefield and hid far away. Yi Chunfeng's opponents were only the Marquis of Qianming and the other 2. Good. The golden-furred iron ape, who had entered a berserk state, roared. It held an iron rod that weighed several 100,000 jin and leaped high into the air, fighting with that Kirin Kingdom expert. Yi Chunfeng, I've really underestimated you. I didn't expect a small fry like you to ruin our plan. Old Zhe looked at Yi Chunfeng, who controlled the universe and toyed with them in the palm of his hand, with hatred. He couldn't believe that such a huge lineup of theirs was defeated by Yi Chunfeng one by one. As for Nirvana, he was in an even more dangerous situation. Not to mention you, even if Qianling of Gojoseon was here, I would still kill him without hesitation, Yi Chunfeng said tyrannically. He ignited the other two bloodlines and raised his strength to the limit. He transformed into a three-headed, six-armed beast and fought with Old Zay. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1056. Boom! Yi Chunfeng and Old Man Zay unleashed their strongest attacks and clashed with each other with their 6 weapons, setting off boundless waves. When Old Zay knew that whether they could leave this place alive or not depended on Yi Chunfeng. That was why he used all of his strength to defend and attack Yi Chunfeng. He burned his powerful bloodline power and blood energy to force Yi Chunfeng back. 3 Gu Dao treasures. After being at a disadvantage, Yi Chunfeng multitasked and summoned the 3 Gu Dao treasures to suppress Old Man Zay. Yin Yang chessboard, sky full of arrows. Old Man Zay immediately spat out several mouthfuls of blood essence into the chessboard. He controlled the chess pieces to fly out from the chessboard and into the chessboard. They danced in the air like stars and collided with the 3 ancient Taoist treasures. The 3 ancient Taoist treasures couldn't be subdued by the chessboard. Yi Chunfeng, let's see what else you have up your sleeves. After controlling the yin-yang chessboard to resist the 3 Gu Dao treasures, Old Man Zay revealed a ferocious expression and charged towards Yi Chunfeng with torrential killing intent. All right, I'll fulfill your wish. Blood Demon Diagram, fuse. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and summoned the Blood Demon Diagram. He sacrificed his blood essence to activate the evil energy within the Blood Demon Diagram and fused it into his body. In an instant, Yi Chunfeng's strength skyrocketed. With the amplification of the 3 bloodlines, Yi Chunfeng's strength was only a hair's breadth away from nirvana. Boom! With his strength skyrocketing, Yi Chunfeng once again clashed with Old Man Zay with his 6 weapons. This time, Yi Chunfeng wasn't pushed back by Old Man Zay's full-powered attack. This made Old Man Zay's expression change, and a trace of unease appeared in his heart. Where did this Yi Chunfeng come from? His foundation is too terrifying. Even the prince of my Kirin kingdom doesn't have such a foundation. Facing Yi Chunfeng's endless methods, Old Man Zay became more and more alarmed. Every time Old Man Zay felt that he had forced Yi Chunfeng into a desperate situation, Yi Chunfeng would have methods to turn the tide. This made Old Man Zay's confidence take a huge hit. Boundless sky. Yi Chunfeng roared as he activated the 3 great Dao diagrams to the extreme. The heavenly sword of the 6 paths imprinted with heavenly Dao patterns fell like the reverse flow of the Milky Way. The vast sword aura enveloped Elder Zhua, and it was unstoppable. True Qilin's seal. Old Man Zay didn't retreat in the face of the 6 boundless swords that enveloped the void. He threw the 6 weapons at Yi Chunfeng with all his might. At the same time, he formed seals with his 6 hands. Surging demonic energy gathered and condensed into a mighty and domineering Kirin divine beast. It roared and shattered layers of space as it met the 6 boundless swords head-on. The moment the 2 supreme-grade Dao skills collided, the explosive force swallowed all the light. Relying on his body that was comparable to a high-grade Dao artifact, Yi Chunfeng endured the roaring destructive power and continued to attack Old Zay, not giving him any chance to catch his breath. I want to see how long you can last. Seeing Yi Chunfeng fearlessly tearing through the destructive storm and attacking him, Old Man Zay quickly consumed a Dao pill and continued to fight with Yi Chunfeng in the storm. Xingluo's clone, attack. When the 2 of them clashed again and again in the storm, Yi Chunfeng summoned Xingluo's clone and launched a sneak attack at Old Man Zay. However, Old Man Zay was already prepared. He separated one of his arms and turned it into the sky-shattering hand and attacked Xingluo's clone. Stun art. But when Old Man Zhe was distracted, Yi Qinfeng's soul power exploded and formed a terrifying stun art. It blasted into Old Man Zhe's soul and slowed down his reaction. Gu Jianga, heart of the sword bright moon. Seizing the fleeting opportunity, Yi Qinfeng slashed out a sword ray that was chanting the sound of the Great Tao. It was fused with the four Great Tao intents, and it slashed towards Old Zhe with invincible might. The sword sent him flying, and a large amount of blood flowed out from the sword wound on his chest. Not far from where Old Man Zhe fell, there were large amounts of hidden array patterns. Once Old Man Zhe touched those array patterns, it would trigger the void array and kill him. Yi Qinfeng quickly swallowed a clump of life force into his stomach. Using the life force's strong recovery ability, he quickly recovered from his injuries. Holding the 6 heavy weapons, he continued to attack Old Zhe, wanting to force him into the base of the formation. True Qilin roar. Old Zhe swallowed another precious Great Tao pill to suppress the injuries on his body. He let out a long roar that resembled the appearance of a Qilin and attacked Yi Qinfeng at close range. 6 armaments break. Yi Qinfeng used the huge Tao shield to block in front of him. He waved the 5 armaments and slashed fiercely, tearing apart the terrifying sound waves. He ignored the injuries on his body and approached Old Man Zhe. Purple origin sacred thunder. Yi Qinfeng opened his mouth and spat the purple origin sacred thunder out of his body. It was extremely destructive as it bombarded Old Man Zhe. When Old Man Zhe relied on his absolute strength to resist the purple origin sacred thunder, Yi Qinfeng used another shocking move. He summoned 18 Qinkuan swords and attacked Old Man Zhe. Because Old Man Zhe didn't have a heaven-defying item like the Life Spirit, his recovery speed was far slower than Yi Qinfeng, who had consumed the Life Spirit and possessed the Pearl of Life. In addition, he was injured by the King of Massacre and the others. Gradually, his attacks were restrained by Yi Qinfeng's Qinkuan swords. However, Old Man Zhe was a Nirvana expert after all. His strength was terrifying. Although he was in a passive state, Yi Qinfeng was still able to kill him. However, under Yi Qinfeng's storm-like attacks, Old Man Zhe was slowly forced towards the hidden array pattern. Gu Jianga, heart of the sword bright moon. Seeing that Old Man Zhe was about to touch the hidden array pattern, Yi Qinfeng didn't care about the damage to his body and used his ultimate move again. Under the attack of the Great Tao, Old Man Zhe's soul was impacted. He couldn't dodge and could only wave his 6 arms to resist the sword light that was as vast as the moon. Boom! The 6 Tao soldiers smashed onto the vast ancient sword. In a series of explosions, Old Man Zhe forcefully broke through Yi Qinfeng's sure-kill attack. However, his body was pushed back by the powerful recoil and touched the hidden array pattern. In the next moment, Old Man Zhe felt the ground beneath his feet tremble. A large number of cracks appeared as an endless black torrent rushed towards the clouds and swept towards Old Man Zhe's body. It wanted to swallow him up and crush his body. Life-saving talisman. At the crucial moment, Old Man Zhe used the only life-saving talisman he had. Borrowing the power of the life-saving talisman, he blocked the destructive attack of the black torrent for 2 breaths and narrowly escaped. However, the moment he escaped from the black torrent, his pupils suddenly enlarged. His aged face revealed a terrified expression. Yi Qinfeng turned into a blood dragon with invincible dragon aura. He spun in the void and attacked with extreme speed, ruthlessly smashing into Old Man Zhe's body. At the moment of life and death, Old Man Zhe stimulated all the potential in his body to resist Yi Qinfeng's true dragon transformation. However, the true dragon transformation was a branch ability of the Heaven Domain dragon race. The instantaneous burst of power was extremely powerful. It shook Old Man Zhe and forced him to retreat continuously. In the end, he still entered the black torrent. Ah! A miserable scream resounded. The terrifying black torrent quickly burned Old Man Zay's body. In the blink of an eye, half of his body was destroyed. Seeing that Old Man Zay was about to be destroyed by the black torrent, Yi Chunfeng suddenly grabbed onto one of his arms and forcefully pulled him out of the black torrent. In the next moment, before Old Man Zay could react, Yi Chunfeng exploded with shocking power and threw his broken body out. He flew towards the third path of life that the God-Eater brain had deduced. This time, the dying Old Man Zay flew for thousands of meters in the crack of hell before he was finally melted by the blazing flames of hell. The moment he melted, Yi Chunfeng's remnant soul in his body sensed a thin strand of spiritual energy 100 meters away from the crack of hell. Remember the URL. Sanwu Chinese Network. Chapter 1057. Elder Zay was also dead. The Marquis of Qianming, who was fighting fiercely with the Chaos Divine Beast, panicked when he saw that Elder Zay had died in the Hell's Crack. He did not expect that Yi Chunfeng, who was a level 4 Beast Emperor, would be able to kill Nirvana's Elder Zay. Now, there were only 2 experts from the Kirin Kingdom left in the abyss of hell. The rest had all died here. He did not expect this outcome. Although he could use the demonic saint's will to restrain the Chaos Divine Beast's attacks, as time passed, the demonic saint's will became weaker and weaker. The Chaos Divine Beast had many tricks up its sleeves, so he could not kill it in a short period of time. Once the demonic saint's will disappeared, with the Chaos Divine Beast's battle power, he would be in danger. Yi Chunfeng drank an entire bottle of returning heavenly water and glanced at the Marquis of Qianming, who was fighting fiercely with the Chaos Divine Beast. He did not attack him. Instead, he took Elder Zay's belongings and attacked the Kirin Kingdom's expert with Xingluo's doppelganger. Seeing Yi Chunfeng and Xingluo's doppelganger approaching, the Kirin Kingdom's expert was shocked and was immediately distracted. Star-plucking Fist, the golden-haired iron ape, seized the opportunity and used the ape god's divine ability taught to it by the spiritual fish. It blasted out a huge hand that covered the sky, as if it was holding the stars. It fiercely hit the Kirin Kingdom's expert in the chest and sent him flying. His entire chest caved in, and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. "No, don't kill me!" Heavily injured, the Kirin Kingdom's expert was terrified and had no choice but to beg for mercy. Yi Chunfeng was unmoved by his pleas. He attacked him together with Xingluo's doppelganger, causing him to lose his ability to fight. Dual Polarity Ancient Heavenly Water Ice Seal. In order to prevent the Kirin Kingdom's expert from self-destructing, Yi Chunfeng controlled the Dual Polarity Ancient Heavenly Water to flow into his body, freezing all his meridians. He then threw him out forcefully towards the fourth path of survival deduced by the God-Eater brain. When he was about 100 meters away from the Hell's Fissure, this expert from the Kirin Kingdom was burned to ashes by the Hellfire. It seems that the third option is open to us, although there was still one more path that they had yet to explore, and the third path had burned Elder Zay to death. However, Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that this third path was most likely the way to leave this place alive. Let's take a gamble. After taking a deep breath, Yi Chunfeng made up his mind. He quickly sat down cross-legged where he was and communicated with the Pearl of Life. He quickly recovered his depleted soul power and prepared to fight with all his might. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting cross-legged, the Marquis of Qianming, who was engaged in an intense battle with the Chaos Divine Beast, frowned. He had a feeling that Yi Chunfeng had most likely found a way out of this place. However, the Chaos Divine Beasts were too terrifying, and the demonic saint's will was about to disappear, so he was powerless to capture Yi Chunfeng. He could only think of other ways. After about 2 hours, Yi Chunfeng used the Pearl of Life to recover his depleted soul power and heal his injuries. He sent a voice transmission to the Chaos Divine Beast. "Chaos, don't fight. Let's go." After speaking, Yi Chunfeng stepped into the void and shifted in the chaotic space. He was approaching the terrifying Hell's Fissure at an extremely fast speed. Mixed fur, Grandpa Chaos won't play with you anymore. The Chaos Divine Beast roared, and its entire body exploded with more than 100 million kilograms of strength. The ancient bronze coffin in its hand smashed down fiercely, causing the Marquis of Qianming to retreat. It followed closely behind Yi Chunfeng and flew towards the Hell's Fissure. Looking at Yi Chunfeng and the Chaos Divine Beast flying towards the Hell's Fissure, the Marquis of Qianming and Yu Wuyuan, who were hiding in the distance, hesitated for a moment. However, they still followed closely behind and risked their lives. "Come, let's rush in." As they approached the Hell's Fissure, which was emitting a destructive temperature, Yi Chunfeng and the Chaos Divine Beast raised their physical defenses to the maximum. Like two divine swords, they broke through the blazing Hell's flames and rushed into the void. They took the risk to enter the terrifying Hell's Fissure and flew towards the end of the Hell's Fissure with all their might. The Marquis of Qianming and Yu Wuyuan didn't hesitate either. They broke into the Hell's Fissure one after another and followed closely behind Yi Chunfeng. When they were passing through the Hell's Fissure, Yi Chunfeng realized how terrifying the Hell's Fissure was. Just the vast and vigorous energy that it emitted was enough to make one breathless. Although the Hell's flames were isolated by a mysterious force, they still burned Yi Chunfeng's skin. The dark brown energy flowing in the Hell's Fissure shocked Yi Chunfeng even more. He didn't doubt that even a supreme-grade Tao artifact would be melted if it fell into the Hell's Fissure, let alone a human. Spiritual energy, there's spiritual energy outside. When Yi Chunfeng was flying rapidly, his powerful soul felt the existence of spiritual energy through the Hell's flames. Under such high temperature, any spiritual energy would evaporate. The appearance of spiritual energy was enough to prove that he could leave this place immediately. However, at this time, the temperature in the space was getting higher and higher. Balls of terrifying Hell's flames seeped in through the mysterious seal and burned their bodies, bringing a fatal threat to them. The Chaos Divine Wood devoured the Hell's flames. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng sent the charred Chaos Divine Beast into the Universe Realm and summoned the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to devour the Hell's flames. Buzz buzz buzz. When the Chaos Divine Wood devoured the Hell's flames, the golden blood droplets it devoured emitted a large amount of golden light. It firmly protected Yi Chunfeng's body and directly isolated the terrifying Hell's flames. What was the origin of this golden blood? It could even isolate the Hell's flames. Yi Chunfeng didn't expect this golden blood to be so heaven-defying. Not only did it subdue the terrifying furnace spirit, but it could also isolate the Hell's flames that could burn Nirvana Realm experts. Just as Yi Chunfeng was flying rapidly under the protection of the golden blood, a scream rang out. Yu Wuyuan couldn't resist the burning of the Hell's flames. His entire body was burned to ashes and he died. Although the Marquis of Qianming relied on his powerful strength to resist the burning of the Hell's flames, he was also burned to death. Several of his defensive trump cards were burned and his skin was charred black. It was that golden blood again. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was enscathed under the golden blood, the Marquis of Qianming revealed an unwilling expression. He ignored his injuries and forcibly closed the distance between him and Yi Chunfeng, wanting to kill him and seize the mysterious golden blood. However, he was horrified to find that not far in front of him, a large amount of Hell's flames had appeared and sealed the exit. With his current physical condition, he couldn't penetrate the Hell's flames at all. Just as he fell into deep panic and didn't know what to do, Yi Chunfeng's voice suddenly sounded in his ears. He said in a commanding tone, "If you don't want to die, don't resist. I'll teleport you into my spatial treasure and save your life." Although the Marquis of Qianming knew that Yi Chunfeng didn't save him with good intentions, at this moment, he had no choice but to give up resisting and be teleported into the Universe Realm by Yi Chunfeng. After taking away the Marquis of Qianming, Yi Chunfeng didn't slow down. Under the protection of the golden blood, he rushed into the blazing Hell's flames that were enough to melt Tao artifacts. He forcibly tore open a passage, passed through the Hell's Fissure, and appeared outside. Mobile reading home, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.